Shalom, Israel, Baruch Hashem Yahuwah.
Shalom, shalom a todo Israel, exaltado sea el nombre de Yahuwah.
We have a very, very, very exciting broadcast for everyone today.
Tenemos una transmisión muy excitante para todos.
And we thank everyone for joining.
Y le damos toda reba a todos por estar con nosotros.
Just when you get a chance, I want you to check the sound, monitor the sound. So, what a wonderful Shabbat we all had together yesterday.
Ayer tuvimos un Shabbat maravilloso todos juntos.
And we had a nice crowd.
Y tuvimos un grupo de personas muy amables.
Almost everyone was here. We missed one person, I think.
Casi todos estuvieron aquí. Creo que solo nos faltó una
And
persona.
we had way over 100 students listening.
Y tuvimos más de 100
Real people.
aprendices que estuvieron escuchando ayer, personas reales.
Not the baloney
No el baloney
that Facebook is feeding everybody.
que Facebook le da a todo el mundo.
I was reading articles and updates.
Estaba leyendo artículos y estaba leyendo cosas que estaban actualizándome.
And exactly what I was telling, teaching, and prophesying
Y exactamente lo que yo estaba diciendo, enseñando y profetizando.
about what Yahweh was showing me in the depths
Lo que Yahuwah me estaba enseñando en la profundidad
of Facebook depravity and Twitter depravity.
de la depravidad de Facebook y de
That these things that I warned you guys when I got off of Facebook 2 months ago.
estas cosas que les advertí hace 2 meses cuando me fui de Facebook hace 2 meses atrás.
And are now coming to pass, and these things are coming out into the light.
Y estas cosas están
Nothing can be hidden in the darkness forever.
descubriendo. Nada puede ser escondido en las tinieblas para siempre.
So, one of the things
Una de las cosas
is that, because of their new algorithms, you could only reach 20, 30 people. They're basically trying to control the speech they don't like.
es que a causa de sus algoritmos están tratando de controlar el habla que no les gusta.
Which is their right to do. I mean, it's their platform.
Que es su derecho para hacerlo, es su plataforma.
But they're lying about it. They're saying these are
Están mintiendo acerca de ello. Están diciendo estas son
the new security measures
las nuevas medidas de seguridad
that you're enjoying.
que ustedes están gozando.
You're not enjoying anything.
No están gozando nada.
They're taking your First Amendment rights away from you.
Te están quitando tus primeros derechos.
And if you expose things like Satan, Lucifer, Anton LaVey, Islam, the Jesuit order,
Y si expones cosas como Anton LaVey, Lucifer, todas esas cosas demoníacas,
then they deem it hate speech and they curb your First Amendment rights.
lo consideran habla de odio y te
Lying demons.
quitan tus derechos del habla.
And then they turn around and tell you, are you enjoying your new privacy settings?
Y luego te dicen, estás gozando de tus nuevas las nuevas opciones de privacidad.
So I've exposed Facebook to anybody that has ears to hear, and Twitter also.
Al que tenga oídos para oír, y Twitter de igual manera.
Because Yahweh showed me what was happening in their basement.
Porque Yahuwah me enseñó lo que estaba aconteciendo en su sótano.
Before it was being brought to the light as it has in the last few days.
Antes de que se manifieste a la luz como lo ha estado aconteciendo en los últimos tiempos.
And from the beginning, I knew they were taking data, they were selling data, they were tracking my cookies and schmookies. That never bothered me because anybody with half a brain cell can figure that out.
Y desde el principio yo sabía que estaban ellos tomando información, cosechando mis galletitas y todo mundo que tenga entendimiento puede saber eso.
But the reason I have left, and you should immediately,
Y la razón que yo me fui de ahí,
because you ain't gonna reach nobody
deberías de hacerlo de igual manera.
unless you deny Yahusha.
No vas a alcanzar a nadie, solo que niegues allá.
You deny the inspiration of Scripture.
Si niegas la inspiración de la escritura,
You deny the testimony that He's given you about what He's done in your life,
el testimonio
and you
que
shut up about
te
it.
ha dado de lo que él ha estado haciendo en tu vida y te callas acerca de ello.
then you can stay on.
entonces te puedes quedar ahí.
And they'll let you reach
Y
thousands.
te permitirán alcanzar a miles.
You willing to deny him? He said, if you deny me, I'll deny you before my Father and the Kadosh Malachim.
¿Estás dispuesto a negarlo a él? Porque dice él que si me niegas a mí, yo te negaré delante de mi Abba y los Malachim Kadosh.
So they are the new speech police.
Así que ellos son la nueva policía
The
del habla.
ACLU does nothing about it.
Y la ACLU no hace nada
Libertarians
acerca de
do
ello.
nothing about it.
Los libertarios no hacen nada acerca de ello.
Politicians do nothing about
Los
it.
políticos no hacen nada acerca de ello.
Free speech is curbed. And
La libertad del habla es en realidad
check this out.
manipulada
They're a publicly traded company.
y es una compañía que está públicamente
Okay.
en el intercambio.
They're not a private company.
No es una compañía privada.
They're publicly traded on the New York Stock Exchange.
Están públicamente en el...
So everything is public.
Todo es público.
And yet they want to privately curb the speech of those that their algorithms don't like.
Y sin embargo, quieren manipular el habla de la gente que no cuadra con sus requisitos.
So now Roger Stone, Alex Jones, and others
Entonces Roger Stone, Alex
are
Jones y
waking
otros
up to the reality
se están despertando a la realidad
that Yahuwah showed me in the Ruach weeks ago.
que Yahuwah me enseñó en la Ruach semanas
Now
atrás.
check this out.
Y vean esto.
All right, check. So if you're going to stay on Facebook, you don't want to come to MeWe
Y si se van a quedar en Facebook, no quieren venir a MeWe
because you think you're reaching people.
porque piensan que
You
están
know.
alcanzando a personas.
I'm reaching people. You ain't reaching nobody.
No estás alcanzando a nadie.
That's a big F lie.
Esa es una gran mentira.
And F is not a 4-letter word, it's a 3-letter word. Fat. That's a big fat lie.
Es una gran mentira.
You were worried, right? She was worried. That's a big fat lie. Now check this one out.
Y vean esto.
Speech police, free speech
Policía
police.
del habla.
Check that. You won't
La
believe
libre
this.
habla.
What I'm about to tell you, you're not going to believe.
Y no van a creer esto lo que estoy a punto de decirles.
What we found out yesterday
Lo que descubrimos ayer
is that the president of the United
es
States,
que el presidente de los Estados Unidos,
the Honorable Donald Trump,
el estimable Donald Trump,
don't in page 45. He ain't no scumbag. He's not a scumbag. Don't impeach 45.
no es una bolsa de basura.
That Maxine Waters needs a mental checkup.
So,
Anyway, check this out.
vean esto.
And I don't know exactly. I'm just throwing numbers at you because it's early morning.
Mm-hmm.
Dígame.
Yeah, you tell me.
No, traducir.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know the numbers,
No conozco los números o las estadísticas,
but you'll get my point.
pero sí voy a comunicarles.
Or you can look it up. Not you,
I don't
any,
know what you're
not you, any you. I'm not talking to you. Any
Okay.
you, any you. Donald Trump supposedly has, I don't know what it is on Twitter, 30 million followers.
Supuestamente
40.
Donald Trump tiene 30 millones de seguidores en Twitter.
You could look it up online. I don't know if it's 30 million or 40 million.
Mm.
I don't know. Here's the point. Donald Trump is now complaining
Aquí está quejándose Donald Trump. It
that
took away
his-
his followers.
as Yahuwah lives, that his most recent tweets
Que sus comunicaciones más recientes
are being limited
están siendo limitados
by the new speech police
por el nuevo policía del habla y
Who
the
are-
president
who are anti-Trump.
que son anti-Trump.
Check this out. To
Wow.
150,000
A 150,000. Whoa.
out of 40 million. I don't know how many followers. Take a look. I don't know if it's 30 or 40. It'll tell you. You can just look it up.
20 million now.
20 million. Okay.
20 millones.
So when the president now is sending Facebook posts,
Entonces, ya cuando el presidente está enviando anuncios a través de
the most powerful,
Facebook.
the most
¿Estás
powerful,
talking about Twitter or Facebook?
both.
Okay.
The same garbage. The most powerful man in
El
America,
hombre más poderoso de América,
Mark Zuckerberg,
Mark Zuckerberg,
has determined,
ha decidido
and his and his cohorts at Twitter
y sus colegas en Twitter
that the president's only going to be allowed to reach
que al presidente solo se le va a permitir alcanzar
150,000.
150,000.
He used to send out a tweet to 20 million.
Antes le enviaba un tweet a 20
Not
millones,
anymore.
pero ya no más. He should go to MeWe.
Now they're going to limit the president to 150,000 followers,
Van a limitar
even
al
though the page
presidente
says 20 million.
a 150 seguidores, aunque la página dice 20 millones.
So let me ask you a question. Those of you who want to stay on Facebook for business,
Así que déjenme hacerle una pregunta a aquellos que se quieren quedar en Facebook para sus negocios.
you're out of business.
Están fuera de
You ain't reaching nobody.
no están alcanzando a nadie.
As soon as they find out you're associated with me
Tan pronto como descubren que están asociados conmigo
or with Mariamni, pregunta Mariamni,
o con Mariamni.
preguntas a través Torah,
Ajá, preguntas a través de
acerca Torah. Entonces, acerca Torah.
Sí.
What do you think they're going to do to your advertising,
¿Qué
sweetheart?
creen que van a hacer a sus anuncios, queridos?
So you're either going to have to deny that you're our friends
O tienen que negar que son nuestros amigos
or that you support Trump.
que apoyan a Trump.
So if you voted for Trump,
Así que si votaron por Trump,
the new privacy settings,
los nuevos
they're
ajustes
telling you
de
the new
privacidad,
privacy settings
los nuevos ajustes de privacidad
are protecting you.
te están protegiendo.
Liars,
Mentirosos,
ambassadors of hell,
embajadores del infierno.
they're not interested in your privacy.
No se interesan en tu privacidad.
They're interested in controlling your message to make sure it lines up with their message
Están
and their
interesados
worldview.
en controlar tu mensaje para confirmar que se alinea con el de ellos y su manera de ver el mundo.
So if you think you're going to stay on Facebook because it's good for your pool business
Así
or
que,
for you're selling chemicals or green tea,
así que si
and you
quieres
can't
quedarte
get
en
off.
Facebook porque piensas que va a ser excelente para tu venta de té verde, tus químicos, a tu negocio de piscina,
you're right. You can't get off. You're not going to get off the ground. Why?
puedes ir del suelo. ¿Por qué?
Because their algorithms have determined
Porque sus algoritmos han decidido
that not only are you associated with this Torah-keeping group,
que no solamente te has asociado con este grupo que guarda Torah,
but you voted for you have inclination.
pero que tienes inclinaciones,
You have political inclination
inclinaciones políticas
to 45,
al 45,
which in their view must make you a
que
scumbag.
en su perspectiva te hace a ti una bolsa de basura.
Is that a clean word?
Yeah, I guess.
Scumbag?
It's better than saying something else.
Oh, okay.
I guess.
We'll find out soon enough.
Page
So,
40,
I mean,
go to
just-
page
I mean,
45.
just think about it.
Mediten en eso.
The president of the United States is having problems
El presidente de los Estados Unidos está teniendo problemas.
with Facebook.
con
I
Twitter.
told you guys
Did
this
you
weeks
say
ago.
Twitter or Facebook?
The same. Come on.
Okay, but which one specifically?
Which one do you think is pro-Torah? Twitter or Facebook? Or Twitch?
Okay, because if he's having problems on Twitter,
Both.
that means that they're starting to manipulate Twitter as well.
Both.
Okay, both.
He's not reaching nobody. If you were reaching, except CNN, I'm sure that they let the major media get his posts so they can make fun of him.
Mhm.
So I'm sure that they do it. But basically, they're trying to stop him
Básicamente están intentando impedirlo
from communicating directly with the American people.
de comunicarse directamente con el pueblo americano.
So if we come preaching Torah and Yahusha and him crucified and risen according to the scriptures,
Entonces, si nosotros venimos predicando Torah, a Yahusha resucitado y todo lo que está en las escrituras,
what do you think they're going to do to our measly posts?
¿qué creen que van a hacer con nuestros anuncios tan humildes?
The attorneys for the president can take it to court, go to the Supreme Court, and turn it into a free speech referendum, and at least he'll have a hearing.
Los abogados de Trump pueden llevarlo a corte y tener una sesión juzgando el referéndum del habla libre.
But we don't have that kind of money.
Pero nosotros no tenemos ese tipo de dinero.
We don't have that access to the finest attorneys.
No tenemos el acceso a los más finos abogados.
Most of us couldn't afford a trim of our beard.
La mayoría de nosotros no podemos
It's not in the
costear
budget.
que se nos corte la barba. No
And
está en
then we wind up looking like this.
y no nos basta en nuestro ingreso y luego acabamos viéndonos así.
Most of us don't have an extra $10 to get a haircut.
La mayoría de nosotros no tenemos $10 extra para cortarnos el
So
cabello.
how are you going to fight back?
Entonces, ¿cómo vas a pelear tú?
I know how I'm fighting back.
Yo sé cómo yo voy a pelear.
Let them keep all their friends and
Que
all
se
their
queden
contacts
con
and all
todos
their
sus
manipulation.
amigos, sus contactos, toda su manipulación.
And I don't want to reach anybody.
Y yo no quiero alcanzar a nadie.
How's that?
¿Qué tal eso?
You know why?
¿Sabe por qué?
Because when Yahuwah opens the door,
Porque cuando Yahweh abre la entrada,
no man can shut.
ningún hombre la puede cerrar. Right.
So if he opens the door and he wants 5 people to be plugged into this ministry so they can come to the realization that they are Israel, the gates of hell and Mark Zuckerberg cannot stop it.
Entonces, si Yahweh
And then he gets the glory
una entrada para que una ovejita entre y regrese
and not
a
my
su destino,
keyboard.
ellos no pueden manipular ninguna parte de esa entrada y ahí entonces nadie puede obtener la estima más que Yahweh.
Right?
Yes.
So on MeWe, there's not that many people.
En MeWe casi no hay gente.
But if we get 5 that join the community
Pero si conseguimos que 5 se unan a la comunidad
from MeWe
de MeWe
and nobody from
y
Facebook,
nadie de Facebook,
who gets the glory?
¿quién recibe la estima?
Yahuwah. Why?
¿Por qué?
Because there's nobody on MeWe.
Yo me afraid.
I mean, es lógico.
Es lógico.
Él es Señor de todo lógicosima.
What is that?
What the heck is that?
Lógicosima.
Que todo lógico
Sí.
en el
Todo
mundo.
lo lógico.
Sí. Ay.
That's funny.
Yeah. Be careful. I might start speaking Yiddish.
Yes.
Then everybody will be in trouble, including myself, because my Yiddish is unrehearsed and
Very street.
very, very, very strained. Anyway, it's a good thing there's not a demand on Yiddish in my Yiddish anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the facts.
Estos son los hechos.
Now, I believe the president is going to take this to court
Yo creo que el presidente va a llevar esto a corte
because they're trying to stop him from directly communicating to the American people.
porque están intentando impedir que él alcance a la mayoría del pueblo americano.
You know, but the word of Yahweh says that our battle is not carnal.
Pero la palabra de Yahweh dice que nuestra guerra no es carnal.
Our battle is spiritual.
Nuestra batalla es espiritual.
To the pulling down of strongholds.
Al derrumbar fortalezas.
And to pulling down and destroying every opposition
Y destruir toda oposición
against the knowledge of
en
Yahweh.
contra del conocimiento
So
de
the
Yahweh.
weapons of our warfare are not carnal because our battle is not carnal.
Así que las armas de nuestra guerra no son carnales porque nuestra guerra no es carnal.
So as long as we fight our battle by faith in him and in the Ruach,
Entonces siempre y cuando luchemos nuestra guerra en fe en él y en la Ruach,
give me a paper towel, then he will give us the victory because he will get the glory because he's opening doors that in the natural don't even present themselves to be open.
él recibirá la estima porque él está abriendo entradas a
You
aperturas
see?
donde en lo físico no están abiertas.
If we don't see the doors,
Si no vemos las
we don't even know the doors are
aperturas,
there to be
ni
open.
siquiera sabemos que las aperturas están ahí para ser abiertas.
On other forms, like MeWe and so
En
forth.
otras formas como MeWe, otras cosas.
But our warfare is not carnal,
Pero nuestra guerra no es carnal,
but mighty through Elohim
pero poderosa a través de Yahweh.
to the pulling down of roadblocks and obstacles and strongholds
Al derrumbar
and every
bloqueos,
high thing,
fortalezas y toda cosa que se hace sublime,
like controlling speech and thoughts,
como el control del habla y los pensamientos,
like all these social media platforms,
como todas
the
estas
new speech
plataformas
police,
de los medios sociales, la nueva policía del
pulling
habla,
down those strongholds
derrumbando esas
and bringing
fortalezas
into captivity and subjection every one of them
y trayendo en cautiverio a cada uno de
to the
ellos,
mind of Yahushua.
a la mente de Yahusha.
So we take these obstacles captive
Así que tomamos
by being wiser than the serpents.
estos obstáculos cautivos al ser más sabios que las
Be wiser than the serpents,
Sé más sabio que las serpientes
or wise as serpents. serpents.
o sabio como
At
la
least
serpiente.
as wise as these serpents.
Por lo menos tan sabios como esta
But
serpiente.
wiser than serpents.
Pero más sabio que la serpiente.
Zuckerberg, Twitter, all these mind control mediums that were at one time were altruistic.
Zuckerberg, Twitter, que en un momento parecían ser altruistas.
To
I don't
help,
think they never were.
to help college students communicate.
I don't think they never
To
were.
help college students
Para ayudarle a los aprendices o a estudiantes de
communicate
universidad a comunicarse
from one dorm to another.
de un dormitorio a otro.
So they
No.
can be, well,
They were never
I
altruistic.
said altruistically,
They were never altruistic.
but
Apparently.
in an altruistic prism,
Ajá, apariencia solo.
or they were sold that way.
That's
Okay?
how it was presented.
So this was all shown me in the Ruach, and I'm telling you, if you want to be on there,
Todo esto se me enseñó en la Ruach y les estoy diciendo que si ustedes quieren estar ahí,
then you're being conned.
están siendo engañados.
You are engaging in a operation where you are being conned. It wasn't always that way, because I can click a post and reach 1,000 people. Not anymore.
Están involucrándose en una operación donde están siendo engañados.
The president of the United States has 20 million followers.
El presidente de los Estados Unidos tiene 20 millones de seguidores.
And someone's sitting, some college kid in his 20s, sitting in an office in Silicon Valley.
Y algún muchacho de universidad sentado en su oficina, en la oficina de Silicon, en el Valle de Silicon,
has decided that the president can no longer reach
ha decidido que el presidente ya no
the
puede
American
alcanzar
people.
al pueblo americano.
So if they did it to him,
Entonces, si lo hicieron a él,
what do you think they're doing to you behind your
¿qué
back?
creen que están haciéndote a ti detrás de tus espaldas?
You wouldn't even know about it if you weren't using social
Tú
media.
ni siquiera supieras acerca de ellos si no estuvieras usando los medios sociales.
There was one guy who has a huge crochet operation for crocheting.
Hubo un hombre que tenía una gran
Right, Rivka?
operación para la costura, para el tejido.
And when Facebook was supposedly selling your data to China and Russia,
Y cuando Facebook estaba supuestamente vendiendo tus
plus everybody
información
else,
a China y a todos los demás,
they had how many followers? Friends? 200,000? 400,000?
tenían 20
No. You said it was much
seguidores.
more than that. 40,000. It was the high thought they were reaching with every post.
Estaban alcanzando a muchas personas, miles de personas con cada anuncio.
He's now leaving.
Ya se está yendo.
He said because the new algorithms have limited him to a few hundred.
Dice porque los nuevos algoritmos solo lo han limitado a unos
So
cuantos 100.
it's come to the point where I have exposed them.
Y ha venido al punto que yo los he
The
expuesto.
Ruach through me has exposed
La
them.
Ruach a través de mí los ha expuesto.
These are the wicked, demonic speech police.
Estas son la policía demoníaca
We no
malvada.
longer need to fear the police state as we once did in America, who can stop free speech and demonstrations on the streets.
Ya no
We don't need to fear the police state anymore.
Ya no necesitamos tener temor del estado policíaco ya más, que controlaba
We
las
now
cosas en
need
las
to
calles.
fear,
Tenemos que temer,
or at least be aware, because we shouldn't walk in fear,
o por lo menos estar apercibidos, porque no tenemos que caminar en temor
the new social media,
del nuevo medio social,
speech police.
la policía del habla.
Anybody who relies on social media,
Cualquier persona que confía en los medios sociales
they can have their ministry shut down,
pueden cerrarles su ministerio,
their donations shut down,
sus donaciones,
their communication shut down.
sus comunicaciones.
The police trying to stop a demonstration of public assembly
La policía intentando impedir una asamblea pública
are less likely to inhibit your rights
son menos probables de inhibir tus derechos
than these free speech police.
que estos policías de el habla libre.
When the Bill of Rights was written, the Fourth Amendment guaranteed Americans
Cuando las enmiendas de los derechos estadounidenses fueron reescritos
against unjust search and seizure,
en contra de la búsqueda y la
meaning
búsqueda y tomar preso en tu propia casa.
Somebody couldn't knock on your door and say, I demand entry.
Nadie podía venir a tu puerta y decir, demando la entrada.
To inspect your premises, your documents, and your papers. To see if you're a traitor.
Para ver qué está aquí adentro en tu casa, analizar tus documentos para ver si eres un traidor.
Without a bench warrant from a judge.
Sin un permiso de un juez.
Who decides that there's probable cause.
Que decidió que quizás haya causa probable.
That necessitates an officer of the court.
Que necesita que un oficial de la corte.
To search your house.
Venga a buscar tu casa.
We have been protected.
Nosotros hemos sido protegidos.
From the person entering our house.
De la persona que entra en nuestra casa.
In an attempt to search and seize whatever they want and violate us.
En intento de buscar y tomar todo lo que ellos quieren encontrar y transgredirnos.
But unless we're on MIWI,
pero solo que estemos en MIWI,
they no longer need a warrant.
Ya no necesitan un permiso.
They are searching and seizing
Están buscando
your documents
y tomando tus documentos
and your private information.
Y tu información privada.
And nobody's violating the Fourth Amendment because you have given them that freedom.
Y nadie está transgrediendo la Cuarta Enmienda porque tú ya les diste esa libertad.
Granted, Google and others have us by the neck.
Dado que Google y otros nos tienen del cuello.
You have a Google account. Every time you send an email, they are algorithming your likes and dislikes.
Si tú tienes un
which is why you get spam.
De Google, a cada vez que tú envías un correo electrónico están pasando todo eso por sus filtros de sus algoritmos, razón por la cual recibes correo basura.
If your email was truly private,
si tu correo electrónico realmente fuera privado,
you'd have to use a service that wasn't Gmail or Google.
Tendrías que usar un servicio que no fuera Gmail o Google.
And the proof would be you don't get any spam.
Y la prueba sería que no recibes nada de
a true private email account is you won't find a single piece of spam.
Así que una real cuenta de correo electrónico privada sería que no recibes nada de correo basura.
I'm not an IT expert and I don't pretend to be.
No soy experto de tecnología y no digo que lo soy.
But I am a Ruach expert.
Pero soy experto en la Ruach.
And the Ruach showed me this.
Y la Ruach me enseñó esto.
And because leaders
y a causa de que los líderes
have the gift of leading people
tienen el don de liderar a personas
to a place
a un lugar
that A, they don't know exists,
que en primer lugar no saben que existe,
and B,
y segundo,
don't know that they need to go there.
No saben que necesitan ir ahí.
That's what leadership is.
Eso es lo que es el liderazgo.
Providing a vision to go to a place,
el proveer una visión de ir a un lugar,
to engage in an activity
para involucrar
that others don't see,
que otros no ven,
and to take them to a place
y de llevarlos a
that
un lugar,
they themselves, the followers,
que ellos mismos, los seguidores,
don't know that they need to go.
No saben que necesitan ir ahí.
That's what a leader is.
Eso es lo que es un líder.
So a leader may take you to a place
Entonces quizás un líder te lleve a un
that you don't
lugar
even know exists,
que quizás tú ni sabes existe,
because he sees the need
porque él ve la necesidad
for you to get there,
para que tú llegues
and you can't even see that
y tú ni
place.
siquiera puedes ver ese lugar.
Yes?
Yes, like Moshe, como Moshe.
Like me?
No, Moshe in the Tanakh. The people didn't know where they were going. He took them there.
Neither does my family most of the time. So I guess I'm in that company. That's pretty good.
Yes.
That's pretty good company to be in.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I just thought you'd find that interesting. Roger Stone, Alex Jones, and Donald Trump has seen their audience disappear. Just this last week.
Creí que eso iba a ser interesante para ustedes, que Donald Trump, Roger Stone, and who was the other one?
Alex Jones.
Y Alex Jones han visto a su audiencia desaparecerse.
By the way, Facebook has banned Alex Jones.
Facebook ha prohibido a Alex Jones que participe en sus plataformas.
And Roger Stone. They're banned from Facebook.
Están exiliados de Facebook.
And they could ban Trump, but since that would make Zuckerberg look like the idiot that he is.
Y podrían...
No, let me
podrían-
change that. Fascist. Because when you try to control people's speech, you are a fascist. Even though you've never been elected to office, you are a fascist.
Y podrían prohibirle al presidente que participe en sus plataformas también, pero si hicieran eso, se vería obvio que son fascistas.
So this fascist now has the ability
Así que este fascista ya tiene la
to
habilidad
force Donald Trump to get his message out through CNN,
de forzar a
the fake
Donald
news.
Trump de causar que su mensaje vaya por CNN y las noticias falsas.
Because these fascists with the office in Silicon Valley
Porque estos fascistas en su oficina en el Valle de Silicon
have decided that the president's only going to reach
han
150,000.
decidido que el presidente solo va a alcanzar a 150,000.
You know, they can also make it 30,000.
Y saben que igual podría ser 30,000.
And if he's not a good boy,
Y si no se porta
and
bien,
if he doesn't do what the fascists in Silicon Valley tell him to
y si
do,
no hace lo que los fascistas en el Valle de Silicon le dicen que haga,
they can algorithm the president down to 50.
pueden forzar con sus algoritmos a que baje la audiencia del presidente a 50.
This is the age we live in.
Esta es la época en la que vivimos.
But unlike Trump, he'll take it to the courts.
Pero a diferencia de Trump, él lo llevará a las cortes. Why doesn't he just
And
get
he'll
off,
sue Zuckerberg into oblivion.
take his audience to MeWe?
But Zuckerberg doesn't care. You know why?
A Zuckerberg no le importa, ¿saben por qué?
Because Zuckerberg has more money than Trump.
Porque Zuckerberg tiene más dinero que Trump.
So he don't care
A él no le importa
if they take him to court.
si lo llevan a corte.
But what are you going to do?
Pero ¿qué vas a hacer tú?
If you continue,
Si continúas,
you're involved in a con.
estás involucrado en una farsa.
And let's move on. But it never bothered me that the FBI and the NSA and the CIA were getting it never bothered me. When I signed up for Facebook, I assumed every morning I would say, "Good morning, FBI. Good morning. How you boys doing today? Did you have your morning cup of coffee?" It never bothered me.
Nunca me molestó que la CIA, el FBI y todas las otras
Boker
organizaciones
Tovs. Yeah.
estuvieran cosechando mis datos. Nunca me molestó, pero en este momento me está molestando mucho.
No problem.
Antes
That's
no
what I
había
signed up
problema.
for.
Para eso me registré.
For all my data to go to James Clapper and all those deep state crooks.
Para que toda mi data se fuera a James Clapper y a todos esos ladrones del estado profundo.
But what I didn't sign up
Pero
for
para lo que no me registré
is to lie to my
es
face
para que me mintieran a mi
and
cara
tell me that now you're protecting my
y me
privacy
dijeran que ya están protegiendo mi privacidad.
when all you're doing is shutting my mouth
Cuando lo único que están haciendo es cerrando mi boca
and chaining my speech.
y encadenando mi habla.
So if you stay on there
Así que si se quedan ahí
thinking that I have to,
pensando que tienen que hacerlo,
it's good for business.
esto para los negocios.
Let me assure you,
Déjenme confirmarle que
it'll be great for business as long as you deny Yahusha.
será excelente para negocios siempre y cuando nieguen a
But if those
Yahushua.
algorithms pick up he'll be preaching to the fish and
Estarás
the Captain Kangaroos in Australia.
predicándole a los pescados y a los capitanes
Yeah.
kangaroo en Australia.
3 kangaroos in Australia will be getting your posts.
3 canguros en Australia recibirán
You'll be in
tus
Facebook
anuncios.
Siberia.
Estarás en
And if you
Siberia
still
de
don't
Facebook.
behave,
Y si
you'll-
no te comportas,
they'll put you on the Facebook guillotine.
te pondrán en la guillotina de
You'll be
Facebook.
banned permanently.
Serás exiliado permanentemente.
So 90% of you that are listening to the sound of my voice right now, you don't even know it. You've been in Facebook Siberia.
Así que el 90% de ustedes que están escuchando mi voz en este momento no lo saben, pero han estado en el Facebook de Siberia.
But that's only because Mark Zuckerberg feels sorry for you.
Pero eso es solo porque Mark Zuckerberg siente lástima por ustedes.
When you really tee him off,
Cuando realmente lo enojen,
he'll put you on the Facebook guillotine,
te pondrá en la guillotina de
which
Facebook,
means you'll be permanently banned.
que dice que serás permanentemente
And
exiliado.
And I can assure you that the 45th president
Y te
don't
puedo
impeach Fortify.
garantizar que el
Don't
presidente
impeach
número
Fortify.
45 no quiten al 45.
Right now he's in Siberia.
En este momento está en
So they're
Siberia.
giving him, the fascists in Silicon Valley are giving him a chance to repent.
Le están dando chance de arrepentirse.
But if he don't,
Pero si no se
he's going to be
arrepiente,
on the Facebook guillotine,
va a estar en la guillotina de Facebook,
like Alex Jones
como Alex Jones
and Roger Stone.
y Roger Stone.
Infowars. He's a ministry. He's like a anti-establishment. media source of information. Very conservative. Baruch Hashem, Yahweh. Alex Jones es una gente muy conservativo. What's going on?
Coconut oil.
Am I missing something?
Coconut oil.
Oh, okay. I thought coconut oil is healthy.
No, you want to put your oats on it.
Okay, so that was the introduction to today's performance. No message, not yet anyway. But no, but we do live in the material world. Yeah. And so we have to be conscious of how we're being taken or taken advantage of, and all these things are important to know.
Ya que vivimos en el mundo físico, tenemos que estar conscientes de cómo todas estas cosas están funcionando. Por eso hablamos de ellas.
I mean, they're not salvation issues, but
No son cuestiones de redención.
They're being wiser than serpents.
Pero es ser más sabio que las serpientes.
I think I got a feeling, because I was just meditating on that before, that scripture might have been somewhat not
reptilians.
Yeah.
I was saying they were reptilians.
Not recorded properly, or maybe changed.
No se grabó correctamente, o quizás fue cambiada.
Because I think what Yahushua was actually saying,
creo que lo que Yahushua en realidad estaba diciendo,
to be wiser
que fuéramos más sabios
than serpents,
que las serpientes,
or reptilians or demons, whatever.
Reptilianos, demonios, lo que sea.
Why would we want to be equally wise?
Porque quisiéramos ser igualmente sabios,
as demons.
Como
no,
los demonios.
We got the ruach.
We want to be wiser.
Wiser.
Queremos ser más sabios.
So somehow I feel that may have been one of those
manipulations.
Texts that have been monked with.
Yeah.
So today I want to begin to delve into the book, the Sefer known as Ovadhyah, Obadiah. And even though there are only 21 verses in the book of Ovadhyah, there are many lessons and many proclamations and many declarations. Hay muchas declaraciones, muchas profecías que Yahuwah habló a su pueblo. And
hoy quiero comenzar a profundizar en el libro de Abdías, y aunque solo tiene 21 versos, hay muchas revelaciones, muchas enseñanzas que Yahuwah nos está dando a través de este profeta.
And even though Ovadhyah is considered a minor prophet,
aunque Abdías es considerado un profeta menor,
the Ruach HaKadosh through him,
la Ruach HaKadosh a través de él,
touches on many, many important themes.
Toca sobre varios temas muy importantes.
And I like some of these short books that are called the minor prophets.
Y a mí me gustan varios de estos libros conocidos como los profetas menores.
Not because their revelations were minor.
No porque sus revelaciones fueran menores.
But because it's not a big scroll.
Pero porque no es un pergamino grandote.
It could be one chapter, it could be two chapters.
Podría ser un capítulo, dos
capítulos. Like for instance, in the Brit Hadashah, in the book of Yehudah.
Como por ejemplo en Brit Hadashah, en el libro de Yehudah.
There are deep, deep, deep doctrines, finished work, categorical doctrine.
Hay muchas enseñanzas profundas de la obra finalizada.
And yet there are only a few verses.
Pero sin embargo solo hay unos cuantos
so
versos.
Jude would be considered a minor prophet.
Así que Yehudah sería considerado un profeta menor.
By the rabbis.
Por los rabinos.
The rabbinical rabbis are the ones who classify prophets into the category of major or minor.
Y los rabinos son los que categorizan a los profetas como los profetas mayores o menores.
Based on the size of their document.
Basado en el tamaño de su documento.
So from the size of the document, Ovadhyah, or the slave of Yah.
Entonces, basado en el tamaño del documento, Ovadhyah, o el esclavo, siervo de Yah,
is considered a minor prophet.
Es considerado un profeta menor.
Who came with a major message.
Que vino con un mensaje grande.
Many of the minor prophets came with major messages.
Muchos de estos profetas menores vinieron con un mensaje principal.
Ovadhyah was more or less a contemporary
Abdías o Obadiah era más o menos un contemporáneo
of Yeshayahu,
de Isaías.
And probably a little bit before Yechezkel and Zechariah.
Y quizás un poquito antes que Ezequiel y Zacarías.
Approximately 700, 690 BC.
I have here 840.
Like I said, Isaiah was 720, 730, a contemporary of Isaiah.
Era un contemporáneo de Isaías.
Yeah, that's more or less the time frame.
Okay.
Give or take 100 years.
That's not quite contemporary.
Well, you're going to believe me, but
1 or 2 generations.
100 years and trying to
after.
figure out biblical time is nothing, because sometimes there's a gap of 1,000 years.
Uh-huh.
You know?
Okay.
The vision of Ovadhyah.
La visión de Abdías.
So number one, what we're about to read is one vision.
Así que en primer lugar lo que estamos a punto de leer es una visión.
Most of the Nevi'im, we think of, we think of the voice of Yahweh saying, take a pen.
En la mayoría de los profetas pensamos en la voz de Jehová diciendo, toma una pluma.
Toma pluma. Amarillo. Amarillo.
Toma un bolígrafo amarillo.
But that's not how scripture is written.
Pero así no es escrita la palabra.
What do I do if my nose is itching on television?
You
I don't have the editing.
Yourself.
I don't have the editing facilities that Monty Judah and Michael Rood have. We're a low budget operation.
They don't have nose dysfunctions.
Well, they do, but they edited it out. They got some guy in a control room with 100 buttons. Or they switched to camera 4. I'm like stuck on camera 1. That's my new nickname. Stuck on camera 1. Hallelujah. So Michael Rood's got to wipe his nose in the control room. Camera 4.
Here, I'll give you some freedom. Camera 2.
Praise the God. Put me back on camera 1.
Nose back on camera.
You know that song by Willie Nelson?
No.
Back on camera 1. Gotta get back on camera 1. Making music to my friends. Preaching on camera 1. All right. But if I ever have to wipe my nose again, I'll go on camera 2.
Just let me know.
That doesn't exist.
Give your camera person the heads up.
I have a better idea.
Nose switch.
I'll blow my stuff on. I shouldn't say it. No. Don't even mention
say
it.
that.
Don't say Mark Zuckerberg. Don't say it.
Okay. I won't say it.
That's vulgar. I mean, I like Mark Zuckerberg
you just said it.
as an individual, but he's a fascist pig.
So you like pigs?
But I like him. I think I like him. All right.
You don't like him. You don't like him.
Well, I don't like what he does, but according to scripture, we have to love everybody.
It's like Satan. You don't like what he does either.
That's right. All right. Number 1, verse 1. The vision of Ovadhyah.
La visión de Abdías.
So what we don't realize is that a lot of scripture was not given con stillo amarillo.
Lo que no
O
reconocemos
negro.
es que mucha de la palabra de Yahuwah no fue dada con un bolígrafo negro.
But it came to the Nevi'im
Pero les vino a los profetas
in a dream or in a vision,
en sueños o visiones.
and that vision was recorded.
Y esa visión fue grabada.
Now, does anybody know the difference
¿Sabe alguien la diferencia
between a dream and a vision?
entre un sueño y una visión?
What is the main difference
¿Cuál es la diferencia principal
when Yahweh speaks?
cuando Yahuwah habla
Through a dream
a través de un sueño
or through a vision?
o una visión?
Do you know? Anybody know?
Well, a dream is when you're asleep. And
Right.
a vision, you could be awake.
Wide awake. That's right.
En un
Yahweh,
sueño, uno
you
está
see things wide awake with your eyes
recibiendo-
open.
En un sueño uno recibe el mensaje en su tiempo de dormir, mientras que una visión uno la recibe cuando está despierto.
This You are correct. This says Yahuwah,
Esto dice Yahuwah,
Elohim of Israel,
Elohim de Israel,
concerning your brother
acerca de tu fraterno,
Edom.
Edom.
So number one, we see that Edom
Así que en primer lugar vemos que Edom
is our brother,
es nuestro fraterno
and therefore he doesn't escape the
y
attention
por lo tanto no se escapa de la
of
atención
Yahuwah.
de Yahuwah.
The same way Yahuwah corrects the Jacobian side of the family and leads and instructs the Jacobian side of the family.
De la misma manera que Yahuwah corrige e instruye a la parte de la familia de Jacob,
His brother does not escape instruction, guidance, and correction.
su fraterno no escapa guianza y instrucción y guianza.
According to
Corrección, perdón.
Bereshit 35:1,
De acuerdo a Bereshit 35.1, Génesis 35.1,
Esav
Esaú
is Edom.
es Edom,
Esav
Esaú
is Edom.
es Edom.
Edom has a promised land.
Edom tiene una tierra prometida.
The promised land of Edom is not the land of Israel,
La tierra prometida de Edom no es la tierra de Israel,
the true Holy Land.
la real tierra Kadosh,
But it says of Esau
pero dice de Esaú
that his home or his land, his
que
territory
su casa, su tierra, su territorio
shall be in Mount Seir,
será en el monte Seir,
where we get the English word to sear,
donde vemos la palabra
fight, tear,
en inglés de
rend,
luchar,
break.
sear.
Look up that word for me in Hebrew. It'd be interesting. I bet you there is a very seir, S-E-I-R, like in Hebrew, Mount Seir. I'm just curious to know what that word is in Hebrew. That should be interesting. And keep in mind, we have that English word to tear, to destroy, sear.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
One moment.
I'll take my time. You take your time. So that Esau.
Mount Seir is spelled Shin, Ain, Yud, Resh.
Similar to the song Shir,
Uh-huh.
but it's a different kind of song.
Mm-hmm.
Shir to Yahuwah is a Kadosh song. Now, what is the definition of Shir?
Seir. Hebrew 8165.
In Hebrew. Hebrew Strong's 8165.
It means it comes from the same as Seir, a mountain range. But let me see if there's anything else.
No, there has to be something deeper than that.
Seir.
While you're looking.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
Yeah, I knew there was something there.
Short definition for the root of Seir. Seir, which is Shin, Ayin, Yud, Resh, means devil.
There you go. Okay? So Seir is the mountain of the devil.
Quiere decir la montaña del diablo.
Even though he's our brother, he acts like a devil against us and against Yahuwah.
Oh, here's a further, going deeper into it.
Put the camera so you can see. People can see what you're doing.
Para que la gente vea lo que estoy haciendo.
Okay, see, this investigating.
Estamos investigando la definición de Seir, and it's devil, goat, hairy, kid, rough, satire. And it also is connected to the word sar,
demonic
which
prince.
Means afraid. No.
A fearful demonic prince.
Sa'ar, which means afraid.
All those meanings.
Afraid.
A fearful devil, a fearful demonic prince, all those things.
And that means to be horribly afraid, fear, hurl as a storm, be tempestuous. A primitive root viene de la raíz de temor, to storm, by implication, to shiver, fear.
Okay, I got it.
Afraid.
Okay, camera.
Whirlwind.
So there you go. Fear, demonic.
Ahí está, temor, demoníaco.
Turbulent.
Turbulento.
Angry, unstable.
Enojado, inestable.
In the English word, all those things that accompany the tearing and the searing.
Y la palabra en inglés, todas esas palabras que van con derrumbar, romper.
So Ovadhyah sees a vision
Así que Abdías ve una visión
about our brother.
acerca de nuestro fraterno,
Because remember,
porque acuérdense. Hey,
Edom,
didn't I just say that Mark Zuckerberg I made an analogy that what he does is like, we can't like him because of what he's doing. He's like acting like the devil.
right, and yet he's a Yehudi,
That's crazy.
our brother. We have heard a report from Yahuwah.
Hemos oído un reporte de Yahuwah.
The report received in a vision by
El
Ovadhyah.
reporte recibido en una visión por Abdías.
An ambassador is sent among the nations.
Y un embajador es enviado entre las naciones.
Arise and let us rise up against him
Levántense y levantémonos contra este pueblo en batalla.
in the battle.
En batalla.
So we see the report from Yahuwah about Edom, who is sent among the nations.
Así que vemos el reporte de Yahuwah acerca de Edom que es enviado entre las naciones.
And the call of Yahuwah is to
Y el
arise
llamado de Yahuwah es que se levanten
and to prepare for a
y
battle
que se preparen para una
between
batalla
Edom
entre
and
Edom
Yaakov.
y Jacob.
This battle is Medor Lador from generation to
Esta
generation.
batalla es Medor Lador de generación a generación.
And Yahuwah says
Y Yahuwah dice
that in Matthew 24,
en Mateo 24,
where Yahusha said,
en donde Yahusha dijo,
in the end times during the Great Tribulation, it'll be just like it was earlier in our history.
que en los tiempos finales, durante nuestra generación, será como en los tiempos anteriores de nuestra historia.
Kingdom light will rise against kingdom darkness.
Reino de resplandor o luz se levantará en contra del reino de tinieblas.
Nation,
Nación,
ethna,
etnos,
epi,
etnos.
ethna.
Etna,
Ethnos, epi, ethnos.
etnos, epietnos.
One particular nation, light,
Una nación en particular, resplandor, luz.
not nations.
No naciones.
That's a false teaching.
Esa es una enseñanza falsa.
Against another nation.
En contra de otra nación.
One nation represents the kingdom of light,
La nación, una representa el reino de luz.
and one nation
de Yahuwah.
represents the kingdom of darkness.
Y la otra, el reino de las tinieblas.
So the end time tribulation will be the final battle, the final uprising,
Entonces, en los tiempos finales
confrontation
será la última guerra, la última confrontación, the last generation,
between Edom,
entre Edom,
ethno,
etnos,
epi-ethno.
epietno. So,
Two nations.
dos naciones.
Remember what Yahuwah said to Rivka?
Yes, you're two nations.
Right on cue is Rivka.
Two nations in your
Remember
womb.
what Yahuwah said to right on cue,
Acuérdense lo
Rivka.
que
Beautiful.
Yahuwah
That was a
dijo.
beautiful entry.
And here comes her.
Yeah, that was a beautiful entry. Shalom. Yahuwah said to Rivka, the Ima of these twins.
Yahuwah le dijo a Rivka, la mamá de estos gemelos.
Two nations
Dos naciones
are in your womb.
están en tu
And
vientre.
those are the two nations, Medor Vador, from
Y esas-
generation to generation.
Y esas son las dos generaciones que de generación a generación
Esta guerra
estarán en guerra, batalla,
contra
una contra la otra,
dos partes,
una contra la otra.
dos hermanos fraternos
Ujú,
de una familia.
sí. So,
Una familia.
de una familia.
Una familia.
So, etnos epietnos does not mean that multiple ethnicities are going to rise up against each other. It's the specific light, children of light versus the children of darkness.
Correct.
Entonces, esa frase de nación contra nación o etnos epietnos, no quiere decir etnicidades de múltiples orígenes se van a levantar en guerra la una contra la otra, como decir a blancos contra negros y chinos contra puertorriqueños o lo que sea, sino que las dos naciones que, como estás diciendo aquí, Sholiach, que fueron profetizadas desde el vientre de Rivka, los hijos del resplandor versus los hijos de las tinieblas.
Which is why Yahusha uses the singular.
Razón por la cual Yahusha usa la palabra singular de
Nation,
etnos,
nation versus nation.
nación contra nación.
So
Wow.
he limits that to the singular.
Lo limita a lo singular.
So Yahuwah says that Yisrael must send an ambassador to all the nations
Así que Yahweh dice que Israel tiene que enviar a un embajador a todas las naciones
to prepare for a battle
para preparar para una guerra
against this turbulent, pestilent, wayward member of our family who is causing worldwide global trouble.
en contra de este miembro que está desviándose, causando problemas mundiales por todo el mundo.
And in the last 15 centuries,
Y en los últimos 15 siglos,
Edom no longer confessed Yahuwah
Edom,
as a wayward, rebellious son,
Edom ya no confesaba a Yahuwah siendo un hijo
but they created their own God.
que se desvió, sino que crearon a su propio Dios.
And they're now in the tents of Allah.
Y están en las tiendas de Allah.
For the first few centuries,
Por los primeros cuantos siglos, Ishmael,
actually for about 2,000 years,
es más, por los primeros 2000 años,
plus probably another 600,
más quizás otros 600,
for about 2,600 years,
por unos 26,000 años.
he was a rebel
Fue un
and an
rebelde
enemy of Yaakov.
y enemigo de Jacob,
But he claimed to be submitted to the Elohim of Shem.
pero desea ser sometido al Elohim de Shem.
About 1,400 years ago,
Hace unos 1400 años atrás,
probably closer to 1,600,
quizás 1600,
he created a God
creó un Dios
and he completely
y
apostatized.
completamente se apartó.
So one side of the family serves Allah, the other side of the family serves Yahuwah, and that will be the ultimate end time great tribulation clash. Yaakov redeemed versus Gog and Magog and their God Allah.
Entonces, básicamente está así. Una parte de la familia está en la adoración y sumisión a Yahuwah, y la otra parte de la familia está bajo la sumisión, sumisos a Allah, y esto culminará la guerra final de Israel en contra de Gog y Magog.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid.
No beban el Kool-Aid.
The final battle
La guerra final
will be
será
light darkness,
luz contra tinieblas,
nation versus nation,
nación contra nación,
Edom and Allah
Edom y Alá,
versus Israel and
y
Yahuwah.
contra de Israel y Yahuwah.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid.
No se beban el Kool-Aid.
Blacks versus white, Chinese Asian versus Indians. All these are smoke screens. They are
Todas estas,
false flags
estas banderas
to
falsas
take the believer's attention.
de lo que estamos viendo en este momento, de cosas superficiales, blancos contra negros, para quitarle la atención al creyente,
So that day and that battle will overtake us unaware.
para que ese yom y esa guerra nos vengan vengan a nosotros sin que nos demos cuenta.
You follow me?
Yes. O sea, nos agarran de sorpresa.
Behold, I have made you small among the nations.
Aquí los he hecho pequeños entre las naciones.
You are greatly despised.
Estás abatido en gran manera.
The pride, now what is the Hebrew word for pride?
¿Cuál es la palabra
Don't
hebrea
look it
para orgullo?
Rahab. Rahab.
I didn't need to look it up.
So Rahab is a demon.
Así que Rahab es un demonio.
So Edom,
Así que Edom,
the end of Edom,
el final de Edom,
who is going to be cut down or diminished or made small in the end
que va a
among the
ser,
nations, even though he's great now.
que va a ser cortado,
God is great. Allahu Akbar. In the end,
que va a ser cortado o minimizado
when Yahushua returns and is finished with Edom,
al fin cuando Yahusha regrese y acabe con Edom,
they will be the least
serán los menores
among the nations.
entre las naciones.
And their Elohim will be
Y
exposed
su Elohim será expuesto
as another false
como otro falso
Elohim.
Elohim.
See, I don't mind telling the Muslim people the truth
Y a mí no me
You know
importa
why?
decirle a la gente musulmana la realidad. ¿Saben por qué?
because they are Edom.
Porque son Edom.
They were part of our family
Son parte de nuestra familia.
who went further and further and further and further astray.
Que más y más y más se
And
apartaron.
all the Muslim people who study my teachings, and I assume there are some,
Y cuando toda la gente musulmana que escudriña mis
They
enseñanzas
don't-
y
they
creo
don't
que hay
hate-
algunas,
they probably don't hate me. You know why?
quizás no me odian. ¿Saben por qué?
Because they know that I know where they're coming from.
Porque ellos saben que yo sé que sé de dónde vienen ellos.
I don't eat pig.
Yo no como puerco.
We have many of the same customs.
Tenemos muchas de las mismas
We don't believe in the
costumbres.
Trinity, 3 gods.
No creemos en la Trinidad, 3 dioses.
So in their eyes, I'm not an idolater.
Así que en sus ojos yo no soy idólatra.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And they know that I tell them the truth because I want to see some of them
Y ellos saben que les digo la realidad porque yo quiero ver a algunos de ellos
question what they've been told
que duden de lo que investiguen lo que se les ha dicho
to return to the family
para que regresen a la
in the
familia
tents of Shem,
en las tiendas de Shem,
away from the threat of the Kaaba.
lejos de la amenaza de la Kaaba.
And they also respect me because when I open my mouth about the Quran, I know what I'm talking
E
about.
igual me respetan porque
Unlike most of these bozos who never read the Quran.
abro mi boca acerca del Corán, yo sé de lo que estoy hablando, a diferencia de muchos de otros payasos que nunca han leído el Corán.
So we may disagree, but we don't have problems with each other.
Así que quizás estemos de acuerdo, pero no tenemos
Because I don't hate
problemas
anybody. We're not supposed to hate anybody.
el uno con el otro porque yo no odio a nadie, no estamos supuestos a odiar a nadie.
And the Torah even forbids us.
Y la Torah aún nos prohíbe.
It says, do not lay a trap or a snare for your brother.
No pongas una trampa, una trampa para tu fraterno.
You shall not mistreat an Edomite
No maltratarás a un
or
edomita,
enslave an Edomite,
ni esclavizarás a un edomita,
for he is your brother.
porque él es tu
Right?
fraterno.
The Torah teaches us that.
La Torah nos enseña eso. And there's a
How many
prophecy.
believers, because of the harm and the killings and the outright brutality, today hate Edom and Muslims so bad that they basically have disqualified themselves from ministering to them because of the hate. You can't minister and reach out to somebody in hate. You're sowing corruption and death, and it will not be received as a lifesaver, as a life raft.
Y cómo es que muchos creyentes, a causa del abuso, de el terrorismo, las matanzas, han llegado a odiar a esa parte de la familia, a Edom, y no quieren ni siquiera ministrarles, no quieren presentarles el evangelio, pero nosotros estamos dispuestos a hablarles y a ministrarles y que se compartan estas enseñanzas con ellos.
True outreach has to be done and motivated by love.
El real alcance tiene que ser motivado por el amor.
And a lot of people have, not everybody, but a lot of people have a sixth sense.
Muchas personas tienen un sexto sentido.
They know when you care and when you're sincere, or you're just smiling and going through the motions.
Saben cuando te importa.
Most of us have a sixth sense, right?
La mayoría de nosotros tenemos un sexto sentido y podemos discernir cuando a alguien realmente le importamos.
Says, so I'm going to make you small.
Dice, los voy a hacer pequeños.
The Rahab has risen
Rahab se ha levantado.
in your heart because your heart has deceived you away from me.
Rahab, la soberbia o el orgullo, se ha levantado tu corazón porque te ha engañado.
And because you didn't like to dwell in the tents of Shem and his Torah and your Kadosh Torah, Genesis 26, observant patriarch.
No quisiste morar bajo las tiendas de Shem y bajo la instrucción de Torah, de acuerdo a los ancestros de Génesis capítulo 6.
You began to hide your deed.
Comenzaste a esconder tus obras.
And living in the clefts of the rock.
Morando en las hendiduras de las peñas.
You began to be full of Rahab.
Y te llenaste de Rahab, de soberbia.
And yet think that your dwelling is high.
Sin embargo, piensas que tu morada es sublime, alta.
Saying in your heart, who can bring down my power, my strength, and my purpose?
Diciendo en tu corazón, ¿quién puede derribar mi fuerza, mi propósito?
No power, no principality, not Israel, my brother, nobody.
Ningún poder, ninguna principalidad, ningún israelita, nadie.
Can bring me down to reality.
Me puede derrumbar a la realidad.
To the ground.
Al suelo.
Because I'm self-exalted.
Porque me he autoexaltado.
And we know that the planet Rahab,
y sabemos que el planeta Rahab,
which was between, I believe it was between the Earth and Mars, I believe, from what I remember. It's been a while since we taught that.
Que de lo que me acuerdo está entre la Tierra y Marte.
Was destroyed.
Fue destruido.
Because Satan was given freedom among the stones.
Porque a Satanás se le dio libertad entre las
to
piedras.
Walk among the stones.
Para caminar entre las piedras.
And everywhere he made his throne among the different planets called stone,
Y donde quiera que hacía su trono entre los diferentes planetas llamados piedras,
he brought destruction,
traía destrucción,
just like the earth.
así como la tierra.
These are one of the stones of Satan.
Esta era una de las piedras de Satanás.
But Yahweh forbid him from bringing complete destruction.
Pero Yahweh le prohibió de traer destrucción
And
total.
his Ruach chose to hover under the waters,
Y su Ruach decidió poder navegar
over the
sobre
waters,
las aguas
to renew and regenerate and recreate the earth.
para renovar,
Because
regenerar
if the Ruach had not,
y recrear la tierra, porque si la Ruach no lo hubiera hecho,
earth would have wound up just like planet Rahab,
la tierra hubiera acabado como el planeta Rahab,
burned to oblivion.
quemado al oblivio, or submerged in water.
And
in that
the
case.
Catholic and the Jesuit and all the other translators are pretty slick
Y los otros traductores católicos jesuitas son muy astutos
when it comes to the reality of covering up
cuando se trata de la realidad de cubrir
that there was an entity known as the planet Rahab.
que hubo una entidad conocida como el planeta Rahab.
So a lot of times what they've done,
Así que muchas veces lo que han hecho
when the scriptures
cuando las escrituras
speak of the definite article,
hablan del artículo definitivo,
the Rahab,
la Rahab,
the translators put pride.
los traductores ponen orgullo
So now it's covered up.
o soberbia y
See,
está cubierta.
Satan wanted his work
Satanás quería que su obra
and his
y
footprints
sus huellas
and his
y
fingerprints
sus huellas de mano
covered up.
fueran cubiertas.
So a lot of times where the translation should say the Rahab,
Así que en muchas traducciones donde debería decir la Rahab,
a place,
un lugar,
a definite article,
un artículo definitivo,
the translators have
los
changed it
traductores lo han cambiado
to an adjective,
a un adjetivo,
pride.
orgullo, soberbia.
So people today, I had one guy tell me on MeWe,
Un hombre me dijo en Miwi,
okay, where is this in scripture? What
¿en dónde está esta
what are the
escritura?
verses?
¿Cuáles son los versos?
Yo, there's at least 10 verses
Hay por lo menos 10 versos
that speak of the planet Rahab
que
that was
hablan del
destroyed
planeta Rahab que fue
because
destruido
of Satan's lordship over that planet
a causa de la autoridad de
or
Satanás
freedom.
sobre ese planeta.
But in our scriptures, it doesn't appear
Pero en nuestras escrituras no aparece.
unless you happen to be fortunate
Solo que tengas la gran braca, bendición,
to have a copy
de tener una copia
of the Restoration
de
Scripture,
las escrituras de restauración.
True Name Edition.
Nombre real, la edición del nombre real.
We have restored
Nosotros hemos restaurado
the actual Hebrew
el hebreo actual,
that translates
que traduce
into the planet
al planeta
Rahab.
Rahab.
Because in most translations, the planet, the definite article has been replaced by an adjective.
Porque en la mayoría de las traducciones, el artículo definitivo que señala un lugar ha sido sustituido con un adjetivo.
Your Rahab has exalted your
Soberbia.
arrogance and pride against your brother.
Tu Rahab se ha enaltecido en contra de tu fraterno.
Send the ambassador
Envía a los embajadores
to get ready.
para que se preparen.
Prepare all nations
Prepara a todas las naciones
to stand against Edom,
para que se levanten en contra de Edom,
to stand with Jacob
que se levanten con Jacob
against
en contra
the
de
nefarious underpinnings of Edom.
los hechos nefarios de Edom.
That is a contextualization of the moment.
Esa es una contextualización del momento.
You walk around the world with your new God and your new faith, and you went from rebellion to apostasy to founding a new faith in a God called Allah, a moon deity of ancient Arabia.
Andas caminando por el mundo con tu nuevo Dios, con tu nueva fe. Has inventado un Dios llamado Alá, el Dios de la luna de las tierras de Arabia.
You exalt yourself as a Nasar,
Te exaltas como un nazar,
which will
un
never be a
águila,
Nasar because you don't want to follow me.
pero no puedes ser un nazar porque no me puedes seguir a mí.
What is the Hebrew word for eagle?
¿Cuál es la palabra hebrea para águila?
Nasar.
Nazar.
Who are we?
¿Quiénes somos nosotros?
Branches.
somos ramas.
Nesarim.
Netzarim.
The ones who are carried by the Nasar.
Los que son llevados por la Nazar.
The Nasar, the true Nasar is Yahusha.
La real Nazar
Right?
es Yahusha.
The Torah says he carries us on his eagle's wings.
Torah dice
Right?
que nos lleva sobre sus volantes.
So Yahusha is the Hebrew word for eagle is Nasar.
Así que la palabra hebrea para águila es Nazar.
We are the Nasarim because he loves us,
Somos los Nazarín
because
porque
he
nos
sees us as
ama,
cleansed,
porque nos ve purificados.
and he carries us on his own wings or on the wings of the Nasar.
Y nos lleva sobre sus propias volátiles, las volátiles
So,
de la Nazar.
Nasar does mean branches, but it can also mean eagles.
Nazar puede decir, quiere decir ramas, pero igual águilas.
So, but you are not the Nasar.
Pero tú no eres el águila.
You have exalted yourself as if you were the Nasar.
Tú te has remontado como si fueras águila.
You have set your nest among the Kochavim as if you rule the universe as the Nasar.
Y has puesto tu morada como los Kokabim, como si fueras como
But you
si
can
fueras
run, but you can't
gobernador
hide.
del mundo, como si fueras Nazar.
You can run, but you can't hide.
Puedes huir, pero no puedes esconderte.
From even if you hide yourself among the stones.
Porque aunque te escondas
See?
entre las
Kochavim, planets or stones.
Kokabim, planetas, son
We've had that
piedras.
argument before. Oh, there are no planets, they're stars.
No hay
right?
planetas, son estrellas.
Right? You say they're stars. Other people say they're planets. Whatever, okay? But see, Satan had the freedom to escape the Ruach,
Satanás tuvo la libertad de escaparse de la Ruach,
given many chances to repent in eternity past.
dándole muchas chances
But
para
there are
que
no
se
more chances.
arrepintiera.
We are born into a time where there is never will be a chance for Lucifer to repent.
Ya no habrá chances para que Lucifer se arrepienta.
But he says, Yahweh says, even though you hide among the planets and the Kochavim,
Pero Yahweh dice, aunque te escondas entre los planetas,
chase you,
Kokabim,
you can run, but you can't hide.
y detrás de ti te puedes huir, pero no te puedes esconder.
Just like the Brown Bomber, the American Heavyweight Championship, for 12 years, no one beat Joseph Louis Barrow. Nobody beat Joseph Louis Barrow in el ring.
Es como Joseph Louis Barrow, nadie le ganaba en el ring.
He was undefeated for 12 years. Can you imagine that?
Derrotado por, you said 12 or
12 years.
No fue derrotado por 12 años.
The Brown Bomber,
El
the heavyweight champion of the world.
Bombardero Café, el campeón heavyweight.
When he was going to fight Max Schmeling in a rematch,
Cuando iba a pelear
and
contra,
others, I believe also. I may have gotten his opponent wrong. He answered, well, he can run, but he can't hide.
Cuando iba a pelear en contra de sus oponentes, decía, puede correr, pero no se puede esconder.
That's the way it is between Yahuwah and Satan.
Y así es entre Yahweh y Satanás.
Even if you hide among the stones and the Kochavim, remember what I did to Rahab? I'll bring you down.
Aunque te escondas entre las piedras y las
And when I bring you down, you're going to hide in the caves.
Y cuando te baje, te vas a esconder en las peñas, en las hendiduras.
Where do a lot of these terrorists and the Muslims and the Taliban, where do they live and hide today?
¿En dónde se esconden
in
muchos
caves.
de estos terroristas? Se esconden en cuevas. Yes.
You don't see Israelites living in caves anymore.
Ya no vemos a israelitas viviendo en cuevas.
But
En Utah.
well, you know what I'm saying. The fact that they're hiding from Yahuwah,
El hecho de que están escondiéndose de Yahuwah,
terrorizing the Amim
terrorizando a los Amim
from their dwelling
de sus moradas
in caves,
en cuevas,
is a telltale sign
es una señal de que
that the ones who think they are the Nasir are not. Their end is like the planet named after their
los que
their
piensan
pride,
que son
Rahab.
águila no lo son como el orgullo de Rahab, el planeta.
Verse 5.
Verso 5.
If thieves come to you, if robbers come to you at night,
Si ladrones vinieran a ti en la laila, en la noche,
O Edom, you would be in big trouble. How cut off would you be if you were robbed in your sleep?
estarías en graves problemas.
Would they not have stolen until the thieves were full of your goods?
No hurtarían los que les bastase.
If the grape gatherers, there's the wine, the new wine. If the grape gatherers come to you, would they not leave you some grapes?
Si entraran a ti vendimiadores, ¿no dejarían algún rebusco?
So he's saying even the thieves would leave you a few things.
Dice, aún los ladrones te dejarían unas cuantas cosas.
Even the robbers who would come at you at night might spare you or not have time to steal and remove everything.
Aún los ladrones que vengan en la noche no tendrían tiempo de robarse todo.
Verse 6, these are things that are sought from Esau.
Estas son cosas que encontradas de Esaú.
The things that he hides, the riches, the wealth, the false doctrines, the false faith, all these things that he hides.
Todas estas cosas que él esconde, todas estas cosas falsas.
Thieves seek for.
Los ladrones lo buscan.
So he's saying, even those who pillage and pilfer Esau.
Entonces dice, todos aquellos que vienen a robarle a Esaú,
have
a Edom,
a remnant that they leave with Esau.
Dejan un remanente con Esaú.
But when I'm through with you,
pero cuando yo haya acabado contigo,
you will be left with nothing.
No quedarás con nada. No se te
He's comparing,
nada.
even you will do better suffering from thieves.
Dice, te irá mejor sufriendo del ataque del ladrón
than from what I'm going to do to you.
De lo que yo te voy a hacer.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
See, this is if you don't have the Ruach Ovadhyah.
Si no tienes a la Ruach Ovadhyah,
in the first few verses,
en los primeros cuantos versos,
can be a little tricky.
Puede ser un poquito difícil de entender.
As we move through Ovadhyah,
porque al avanzar a través del libro de
I would say 8 out of 10 believers
yo diría que 8 de 10
are lost.
se pierden.
By the time we get to verse 5 and 6,
para el momento que llegamos al verso 5 y 6,
they're lost.
Ya se pierden.
They don't know what they're talking
No
about.
saben de lo que están hablando.
It's not easy to follow.
Porque no es fácil de seguir.
Because we don't understand historically all the things that happen.
Porque no comprendemos históricamente todas las cosas que acontecieron.
But he's basically saying you'll be better off if thieves come upon you at night in your cave.
Pero básicamente está diciendo que le irá mejor si vienen los ladrones en la laila a tu cueva.
Then if my Ruach has to deal with
que
you.
si mi Ruach tiene que tratar contigo.
Verse 7.
Verso 7.
Now we see in the end times there's a confederacy of nations that believe in Allah.
Y vemos que en los tiempos finales habrá una confederación de naciones que creen en Alá.
And Yahweh says, the men of your confederacy
Y Yahweh dice, todos tus aliados
have brought you to the border of Israel.
te han traído a los confines de Israel.
Even the men who made a temporary shalom pact.
Aún aquellos que hicieron un convenio de shalom temporario.
I have allowed to deceive you and prevail against you.
Yo he permitido que te engañen y que prevalezcan en contra de ti.
Those whom you have fed, who have eaten your lechem,
Aquellos a quienes les has dado de comer,
have
que han
laid
comido
an
de tu lechem,
have laid an ambush under you.
básicamente te han atacado.
There is no knowledge or understanding in Esau.
Prevalecieron contra ti. No hay entendimiento en Esaú.
We remember in the Torah,
y nos acordamos que en Torah,
Yahweh's prophecy that Edom's hand would be against his brother,
la profecía de Yahuwah que la mano de
Israel,
él estará en contra de su fraterno Israel,
but also against every man.
pero igual en contra de todo hombre.
So because of his nature, he not only has constant fighting with his brother Yaakov,
Entonces, a causa de su esencia, no solamente está constantemente luchando contra su fraterno Jacob,
but even amongst themselves.
pero aún en contra de sí mismos.
Those who are in shalom
Los que están en Shalom,
finally go to war.
por fin van a guerra.
Those who eat from their oil and their bread
Los que comen de su aceite y de su
betray them and
lejem,
turn against them.
los traicionan y van en
See?
contra de ellos.
Verse 7, we see a picture in the end time.
En el verso 7 vemos una imagen en los últimos tiempos.
In politics, we used to call it the Arab League.
En la política lo llamábamos la Liga Árabe.
And what highlighted the Arab League, there was no two countries who didn't go to war with each other.
Y lo que iluminaba la Liga
Yes.
Árabe es que no habían dos países que no iban en guerra la una contra la otra, el
Even-
uno contra el otro,
Even though they had a confederacy,
aunque tuvieran una confederación,
the Arab League.
la Liga Árabe. Yeah,
But
they
every
fight each
member of
other.
the Arab League
Pero todo miembro de la Liga Árabe
hated Jacob,
odiaba a Jacob,
but that didn't stop them from going to war against each other
Pero
over
eso-
bread, oil, money, sex, wives, all kind of chazarai.
pero eso no les impedía irse a guerra el uno contra el otro por cualquier razón, dinero,
Okay,
mujeres,
I'm
sexo,
going
lo
to
que
tell a
fuera.
dirty joke.
No.
Don't tell anybody.
Okay, I'll turn off the... broadcast.
Okay, stop. Camera 1.
Camera 2. No dirty jokes allowed.
When I say dirty, I don't mean dirty. Okay, what's the difference between a Jewish couple?
You tell a dirty joke.
Yeah.
This is what's gonna happen to you.
Okay, what's the difference between a Jewish couple and
¿Cuál es la diferencia
an Edomite couple?
entre una pareja judía? Sholiach les va a decir una broma sucia, dice. Por eso sacamos el limpiador.
What's
Porque
the difference?
Sholiach está a punto de decir una broma sucia.
Take that away, please. What's the difference between a Jewish couple and an Edomite couple
¿Cuál es la diferencia
when they have sex?
entre Sholiach,
Answer the
una
question.
pareja
Answer the
judía
question. A Jewish
y
couple,
una pareja
Edomita.
edomita, cuando tienen intimidad?
A
I don't
Jew-
know, I don't want to hear
A
this.
Jewish couple goes, oi, oi.
La pareja judía dice, oi, oi.
And an Edomite couple go,
Y la pareja edomita dice,
oil, oil.
oyo, oyo,
O-I-L.
oyo, oyo. I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, it wasn't that dirty. No. It wasn't that dirty. See, I kept it clean. Jewish couple go, oi, oi, oi. And the Edomite couple go, oil, oil. All right, moving right along. Are we gonna? If I didn't say the word dirty, your antennas wouldn't even have gone up. The only reason you thought it was because I said the word dirty, but it wasn't dirty. Okay.
Because we had the green clean.
Oh, see what I do to survive? Otherwise, ministry would drive me sugar. If I didn't tell a few jokes.
Si no dijeran unas cuantas bromas, dice Sholiach.
Reminds me of the old pastor said, I love ministry, I just can't deal with the people.
Ministry to who?
Says, I love ministry. The only thing I can't deal with is the people. Well, dude, you might want to try plumbing. The pipes don't talk back. I mean, they might sing back, but they don't talk back. Baruch Hashem.
Baruch Hashem,
Yahuwah. So we see that even in their confederacy, political, spiritual, religious,
Así que vemos que aún en su confederación, ya sea política, religiosa,
that even though they rely on each other for bread, for oil,
que aunque confían en
for
el
sex, for wives, oil, oil. At some point, they're going to fight. They may be in shalom now.
Quizás en este momento estén en shalom, pero en algún momento se van a poner a pelear.
But at any moment,
En cualquier momento,
that turbulent, demonic character
ese carácter turbulento, demoníaco,
can spring up.
puede atacarlos.
You see what I'm saying?
Puede presentarse, yes.
And this has been, Esau loves to coagulate
A Esaú le gusta coagular
and work with with themselves.
y trabajar el uno con el otro.
But just like they're capable of turning against Yaakov,
Pero así como son capaces de voltearse en contra de Jacob,
they are capable of turning against each
son
other.
capaces de voltearse el uno contra
How
el
many
otro.
civil wars do we have in Muslim countries?
¿Cuántas guerras civiles tenemos en los países musulmanes?
Half of Africa is in a civil war today.
La mitad de
We don't hear
África
about
está
it,
en
right?
guerra civil hoy.
Zimbabwe, South Africa, we just got over one. You don't even hear about it,
Ni
right?
siquiera oímos de ello.
Nigeria, to this day.
Nigeria,
Philippines.
hasta hoy, las Filipinas,
Syria, we know about Syria.
Siria, sabemos de Siria.
Lebanon, how long was their civil war?
Líbano, ¿cuánto duró su guerra civil?
Do you know Algeria had a civil war?
¿Sabían que Algeria tuvo una
And,
guerra civil?
and all the Jews, Jacob ran to France
Y Jacob tuvo que huir a Francia
and Spain
y a España
to to escape.
para escapar.
People don't know that.
La gente no lo sabe.
Everywhere Edom, you have Edomic countries.
En donde quiera que tenemos a países edómicos,
They either fight each other
o se pelean el uno contra el
or they
otro,
break out within the country
o dentro del mismo país
into civil war.
se presenta una guerra civil.
And there's a civil war in Lebanon,
Tenemos una guerra civil en
civil
el
war in
Líbano,
Libya,
en Libia,
civil war in Syria.
en Siria.
Didn't we just have one in Egypt
Que no acabamos de tener una en Egipto.
in the last 10 years?
Well, I think we've had several.
All right.
Hemos tenido varias. Han tenido. Not us, they did.
Baruch Hashem Yahuwah.
Baruch Hashem Yahuwah. Anyways.
Anyway, what about Turkey? Didn't they
¿Qué
just
tal
have
Turquía?
didn't they just have a coup d'état
Que no acaban de tener un coup d'état
against Erdogan
en contra de Erdogan.
2 years ago?
Dos años
Remember?
atrás.
Had a coup d'état.
I don't even know.
Yeah. He's back in power, but they had an attempted coup.
I'm tired of bad news.
Yep.
Not fake news, bad news.
Amen.
Ya me cansé de las noticias.
So
malas.
Yahweh says at the end of verse 7,
Así que Yahweh dice aquí al fin del verso 7,
there is no binah,
no hay binah, no hay entendimiento
no understanding of me.
de mí.
Verse 8.
Verso 8.
Shall I not
¿Qué no haré?
in that yom,
No haré que perezcan en aquel yom,
says Yahuwah.
dice
Now,
Yahweh.
remember, Ovadhyah is seeing all this in a vision.
Acuérdense que Abdías está viendo todo esto en una
And he's
visión.
writing it and recording it.
Y lo está viendo, lo está grabando,
And in that vision, Yahuwah is also talking. So
escribiendo.
he has to record Yahuwah's word.
Y igual en esta visión Yahweh está hablando, así que tiene que grabar esas palabras.
Shall not I in that yom, says Yahuwah,
¿Que no será que yo en ese yom, dice Yahweh,
even destroy the wise men from out of Edom?
destruiré a los hombres sabios de Edom
And the binah, the understanding,
y la
away from the
prudencia,
mount of the devil,
y la prudencia del monte del diablo,
Har Esau.
Har Esaú.
He says, I'm going to take away the little wisdom and understanding that they have. I'm going to take even that, I'm going to take away.
Dice, aún la poquita sabiduría y prudencia que tengan, eso se los voy a quitar.
And your mighty men, Teman.
Y tus valientes o Temán.
Teman is a synonym for Edom.
Temán es un
If I'm not
sinónimo.
mistaken, it was one of the
Para Edom.
children of Edom.
Yes,
Teman.
yes. You know what? The word Temán reminds me of the word temer, which means fear, to
Tamor.
be afraid.
Tamor. Or Tamai.
Temor.
Tamai. Tamai means
Temán
what?
is
Unclean.
Ujú.
So all these things are characteristic of Esau.
Todas estas cosas son características
Fearful,
de Esaú.
hiding in caves,
Temeroso, esconderse en cuevas,
like passive aggressive.
agresivo, pasivo,
Fearful,
temeroso.
a fearful people,
Un pueblo temeroso,
but aggressive,
pero agresivo.
terroristic, passive aggressive.
Terrorista, agresivo, pasivo.
And like I said, if I'm not mistaken, the Teman was an offspring of Esau.
Yes, there was a connection with the families there. And there was a person named Temán.
Teman, yeah.
Había una persona llamada Temán.
And the mighty warriors that proceeded from Esau, obviously some of them were coming through the lineage of Teman.
Y obviamente algunos de los valientes guerreros venían del linaje de Temán.
Your mighty men shall be dismayed,
Serán amedrentados
to the end that everyone of the mount of Seir, we talked earlier, or Esau,
serán amedrentados porque todo hombre será cortado del monte de Saúl por el
I'll take
estrago.
away their wisdom, I'll take away their understanding.
Les quitaré su sabiduría, su entendimiento.
They'll hide from me, they can run, but they
esconderán de
cannot
mí.
hide.
Pueden huir, pero no se pueden esconder.
Their confederacy will collapse with dissension from
Su
within.
confederación se derrumbará por disensión por dentro.
And this is my purpose.
Y este es mi propósito.
This is my recompense.
Esta es mi recompensa.
This is my payback
Esta es mi venganza
for the controversy of Zion.
por la injuria en contra de Sion.
So this age-old controversy between Israel and Esau over who is the rightful heir, the birthright, the Bahor, and truly who is the favored Zion.
Así que-
It's called the controversy of Zion.
Esta se conoce como la controversia de Sion. ¿Quién es realmente el primogénito?
Zion being the temple, the mount, the whole. This is all part of the controversy of Zion.
Sion siendo el monte, el templo, todo esto es la controversia de Sion.
Everyone that is affiliated
Todos los que están afiliados
with Mount Esau,
con el monte de Esaú,
the mountain of Edom,
el monte de Edom o Seir,
will be cut off
serán cortados.
by and slaughtered.
¿Se cut off what?
Cut off by slaughter and will be slaughtered.
Serán cortados a través de la matanza.
So you want to be on the winning side.
Así que quieres estar del lado de los
So
ganadores.
what happens when an Edomite gives their heart to the king of Israel? They become Israel.
¿Qué pasa cuando un edomita le da su corazón al rey de Israel? Se convierten en Israel. They become the Bajor.
They're no longer slaughtered, but they're the conquerors.
Ya no son,
They go from being the subjected and those destined for slaughter
ya no son
to being those
aquellos
in Yahuwah's army, conquerors.
designados para la matanza o el degollar, pero se convierten en conquistadores.
They go from being losers to winners.
Van de ser perdedores a ser ganadores.
And so the only hope of the world, and of course, the only hope of Edom,
Así que la única esperanza del mundo y
Our
por
brother.
supuesto de Edom, nuestro fraterno,
is to return to the family.
es de regresar a la
I
familia.
mean, we say to become Israel,
Decimos que para llegar a ser
but that's
Israel,
really returning to the family,
en realidad es regresar a la
right?
familia.
It's really an invitation while there's time
En realidad es una invitación mientras que todavía
to
hay
accept
tiempo
divine invitation.
para aceptar la invitación
While
de
there's still
Elohim.
time
Mientras que todavía hay
to
tiempo
accept divine invitation,
para a recibir la invitación de Elohim,
right? To come back to the family.
para regresar a la
So when we
familia.
talk about Edomites being redeemed by joining the Commonwealth of Israel,
Entonces, cuando hablamos de que los edomitas sean redimidos al regresar a la mancomunidad de Israel,
in Ephesians 2,
en Efesios 2,
it shouldn't be a novum
no debería de ser algo nuevo
or something that's previously never happened.
o algo que no había acontecido previamente.
It's more of a return,
Es más un retorno,
like Joseph.
como José.
When Joseph comes back to Yahuwah, they come back to their own family.
Cuando José regresa a Yahuwah, regresan a su propia familia. Yeah, it's a family reunion.
But wouldn't that also apply to our brother?
Pero que eso no igual se aplicaría a nuestro
So
fraterno.
in essence,
Así que en esencia,
when we think about the olive tree,
cuando pensamos en el olivo,
Sholiach Shaul in Romans chapter 11
Sholiach Shaul en Romanos capítulo 11
doesn't divide the tree into Jews, Gentiles, and Muslims or whatever. Scripture doesn't do that.
no divide el árbol entre musulmanes, cristianos, judíos. No hace eso la escritura.
When we study Romans chapter 11,
Cuando escudriñamos Romanos capítulo 11,
some people have never even read Romans chapter.
algunas personas ni siquiera han leído Romanos 11.
The olive tree is divided into two kinds of branches.
El olivo es dividido en dos tipos de ramas.
The natural branches
Las ramas nativas
and the wild branches.
y las ramas silvestres.
Right? Esau is wild.
Esaú es silvestre.
Esau is crazy.
Esaú está
Sometimes Esau
desubicado, loco.
is a nut job.
A veces Esaú es un
Right?
loco.
But
Pero
wouldn't they qualify
que no calificarían, yes, as a wild,
as a wild branch?
como una rama silvestre,
Because they can go back to Abraham.
porque pueden regresar a Abraham,
They can go back to Yitzchak.
pueden regresar a
They
Yitzhak,
can go back to Rivka.
pueden regresar a Rivka,
And they could also go back because they shared the house
y pueden igual regresar porque compartían la casa
with Jacob.
con Jacob.
Yes?
Yes.
So they have a connection
Así que tienen una conexión
to all three patriarchs.
a todos los tres ancestros.
They don't come from Jacob,
No vienen de Jacob,
so they can't be literally Israel
así que no pueden ser literalmente
because they don't
Israel,
come from Jacob,
porque no vienen de Jacob,
but they're still in the same
pero
house.
todavía siguen en la misma casa.
So those wild olive
Así
branches,
que esos olivos silvestres,
in my view, to have an expanded view,
en mi perspectiva, para tener una perspectiva expandida,
can be Joe's,
pueden ser
the
Joseses,
10 tribes,
las 10 tribus,
or Edom.
o Edom.
Now we know that in our limited view,
Y sabemos que nuestra perspectiva
the
limitada,
wild branches are the 10 tribes,
las ramas silvestres son las 10
That's what
tribus,
we've taught for 3
but those are the
decades.
friends.
The-
Son los amigos.
The enemies
Los enemigos
who become friends,
se convierten en amigos
and the enemies were wild.
y los enemigos eran
So
silvestres.
under every possible criteria,
Entonces, bajo todo criterio posible,
Edom could be perceived
Edom podría ser percibido
as the wild branches.
como las ramas silvestres.
Because doesn't the Torah say
Porque ¿qué nos dice Torah?
he will be a wild
Que
man?
será un hombre silvestre.
His hand will be against everybody,
Su mano estará
right?
en contra de todos.
and everybody's hand will be against
Y la
him.
mano de todos en contra de
You
él.
can't get more wild than that.
No se puede poner más silvestre que eso. Not only that, but throughout the ages, we've had lots of intermarriage. So they've united with
Yep.
all kinds of Israel and descendants of Jacob throughout time.
Absolutely.
Y no solo eso, que a través de las épocas han habido varias
Absolutely.
mezclas a través de las uniones de convenio o no, sin convenio, genealógicas. And then also we have the evidence that in the times of Yahusha, during the Shavuot of the great giving of the Ruach, there were Arabs in the temple.
Bingo.
Y no solamente eso, pero en los tiempos después de la muerte de Yahusha, durante la gran dádiva de la Ruach en ese Yom de Pentecostés, tenemos la evidencia que allí había árabes en el templo.
I give you two perfect examples
Les doy dos ejemplos perfectos
why we can't hate
de por qué no podemos odiar
Edomites, even though they have adopted the false faith of Allah.
a los edomitas, aunque han adoptado la falsa fe de
In
Alá.
what was known as the Golden Age of Spain, Jews and Muslims coexisted
En lo que se conocía como
as
la
best
época
friends
de
and
oro
business partners
en España, los judíos y los árabes
in the 1500s.
coexistían como amigos y afiliados de negocios en los años 1500.
This was before the Spanish Inquisition.
Esto fue antes de la Inquisición de España.
And for a fact,
Y de hecho,
Jewish family,
las familias judías,
as you said,
como dijo usted,
assimilated with Muslims.
se asimilaban con los
A
musulmanes.
boy and a girl meet, blah, blah,
Un
blah.
niño, una
One
niña
is a
se
Muslim,
conocen.
one is a Jew.
Uno es musulmán, otro judío. Yeah.
And that happened a lot in the Golden Age when they were best. They didn't just,
It's happening now
But
in
people-
Israel.
but people have to understand that.
Eso, dice Julia, eso pasaba mucho en esa época de oro y yo le digo, eso está pasando en este momento en Israel.
In Spain before the Inquisition,
En España antes de la Inquisición,
Jews and Muslims didn't just tolerate
los
each other.
judíos y musulmanes no solo se
They
toleraban,
truly lived with each other
realmente vivían el uno con el otro
and appreciated each other
y se apreciaban el uno al otro
against the Christians,
en contra de
actually,
los cristianos
the Catholics,
y
who were trying to
católicos
always convert them.
que siempre querían convertirlos.
So their seed is mixed,
Así que su simiente ha sido
as in
mezclada
Israel today.
y como es en Israel hoy.
And there was also another example
Y había otro ejemplo igual
that I was going to use.
que yo iba a usar.
Even in the Brit Hadashah,
Aún en Brit Hadashah
we see that King Herod
vemos que el rey Herodes
was an Edomite.
era un edomita,
He was part Yehudi
era parte yahudí
and part Edomite.
y parte
So the
edomita.
whole Herodian dynasty,
Así que toda la dinastía
And
de Herodes,
the Jewish, because they were considered Jewish,
porque se consideraban judíos,
the Jewish political party, the Herodians,
el partido judío político, los herodianos,
was a mixture of Yehuda and Edom.
era una mezcla de Yahudá y Edom.
So no
It's
question that
mixed.
they have a claim.
Y no hay duda de que tienen
Now
un
again, you got to
reclamo.
think outside the
Y
box.
tenemos de nuevo que pensar fuera de la casa.
I understand that the olive tree are Jews and Jews.
Yo comprendo que el olivo se compone de Yahudim,
I understand that it's
escoceses.
in the Pashat,
Entiendo que en el Pashat
it's the two houses.
son las dos casas,
But in a macro view,
pero en una vista macro,
as opposed to a micro view,
a diferencia de una vista perspectiva micro,
you would have to include the house of Esau
tendrías que incluir a la casa de Esaú,
because they're wild as
porque
heck.
son silvestres,
You don't get any wilder
super silvestres, yes,
than Esau.
No se pone más silvestre que Esaú.
Who's wilder,
¿Quién es más silvestre?
Esau
¿Esaú
or Joseph?
o José?
Esau.
Esaú. Hands down.
So from the macro view, they're part of the olive tree. From a limited micro view, yes, correct. In the Pashat, it's limited to the two houses.
Sí, en la perspectiva Pashat se limita a las dos casas, Yahuda y Efraín o José. Pero en la perspectiva macro, o sea, la más grande perspectiva, ahí se tiene que incluir porque es una rama súper silvestre.
So Yahweh says
Califica.
in the day that I bring judgment on Mount Seir,
Así que Jehová dice que en el día que yo traiga juicio sobre el monte Seir,
I'll take all the wisdom away from him
quitaré toda la sabiduría de entre ellos
to destroy him.
para destruirle.
And that probably is eschatological in nature.
Y eso quizás sea escatológico en la
So
esencia.
the vision sees Edom in their current state,
Así que la visión ve a Edom en su estado actual,
with the understanding that what Ovadhyah is seeing in their current state
con el entendimiento de lo que Abdías está viendo en su estado actual,
will fully play out
se desarrollará del todo
at the end of this age.
al fin de esta época.
Okay, verse 9.
Verso 9.
I'm sorry,
We did it.
we did 9. Verse 10.
Verse 10. I think we did that too.
No, we didn't.
Okay.
And then Yahweh gives the reason.
Y luego Yahuwah da la razón.
And again, we switch to the end time macro view.
Y de nuevo vamos a la perspectiva macro de los tiempos finales.
Because of your Hamas,
Por causa de tu jamás, tu injuria,
your violence
tu violencia
against your brother Yaakov.
en contra de tu fraterno Jacob.
And we see today that boldly, arrogantly, with Rahab restored,
Y vemos hoy
the
que
pride, the Rahab restored.
audazmente con la Rahab, la soberbia, el orgullo restaurado,
They come against Israel
vienen en contra de Israel
in the banner of violence.
en el pendón de la violencia.
Hamas
Hamas.
means violence.
Quiere decir violencia.
When they say we are Hamas,
Cuando dicen
we demand
somos
your land, we
Hamas,
demand the right, we
demandamos
demand the right of
su
return.
tierra, el derecho de regresar.
They don't want to return to Jacob's Elohim,
No quieren regresar al Elohim de Jacob,
but they want Jacob's land.
pero quieren la tierra de Jacob.
And we're here to take it by Hamas.
Y estamos aquí para tomarla por violencia, jamás.
Verse 10, the Hebrew word for violence
La palabra hebrea para violencia en el verso 10
is the Hebrew word Hamas.
es la palabra hebrea jamás.
Not interesting.
That's really interesting.
And they have no shame
Y no tienen vergüenza
to march against their brother
de
Jacob.
caminar en contra de su fraterno Jacob,
under the banner of Hamas.
bajo el pendón de
And
jamás.
we as redeemed Israel are supposed to come to them
Y nosotros como el Israel redimido estamos supuestos a venir a ellos
under the banner of Ahava.
bajo el pendón
So they come
de
against us in the
Ahabá.
banner of Hamas.
Así que si vienen ellos en contra de nosotros con el pendón de jamás,
See, that's all new names, man. The old names were truer.
the old names were what?
Were more, well, I shouldn't say truer, but the old names were more indicative.
Los nombres antiguos eran más indicativos.
So let me tell you, the old names used to go like this.
Los nombres anteriores iban así.
The Palestine Liberation Army.
El Ejército de Liberación de Palestina.
The Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigade.
La Brigada de Al-Aqsa.
The
De
PFL,
Armas Al-Aqsa.
the PFLP.
La
PF.
PFLP. La PLF. La PFLP.
Watch your language. Don't pay on my program.
What?
Say that again.
I didn't say that.
Pepe.
La PFLP.
Pepe.
Shalia.
Papa. What? I don't understand. Say it again. I love the, because I don't even know the Spanish alphabet, so when I hear it, it's very romantic.
Romantic.
I'm like
What's
wooed.
that?
I'm like wooed by it, because like the J letter is the Jota. I'm like when I hear Jota, I'm like.
Okay, I'll say Yota.
It's like a love letter.
Yota.
Okay, so do PFLP for me.
PFLP.
Pepe. So PFLP stands for the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine. That's what they used to call themselves. And then they had Hamas, the violent ones, had another splinter. Dígame.
Well, I'm like still stuck on this acronym. Okay, entonces
PFLP.
PFLP quería decir The Popular Front, la
for the
Frente
liberation of
Popular,
Palestine.
la Frente Popular para la Liberación de Palestina.
Then they had a spin-off of the PFLP.
Y luego se desviaron de la PFLP.
And they changed it to
Y la cambiaron
the Popular Democratic Front.
La cambiaron al Frente Democrático
For the
Popular
liberation of Palestine.
para la liberación de Palestina.
And from these early terrorist organizations,
Y de estas organizaciones terroristas tempranas, I think the key word there is front.
They all kind of, guess right, they all kind of convalesced.
Todas se unieron o vinieron a unirse.
And coagulated.
Se coagularon.
Under Arafat.
Bajo Arafat.
And they all became known as Fatah.
Y todas se conocieron como
Okay,
Fatah.
so all these groups like the PFLP, the Popular Democratic Front for the Liberation of Palestine, they all kind of coalesced.
Todas estas organizaciones se unieron
and became known as Fatah.
Y se vinieron a ser conocidas como Fatah.
And Fatah was the main show.
Y Fatah era el show principal.
But once Arafat died,
Pero una vez que se murió Arafat,
today we have the Palestinian Authority.
hoy tenemos la Autoridad Palestina.
Technically, the PLO no longer exists.
Técnicamente el PLO ya no existe.
And then we have Hamas.
Y luego tenemos Hamas.
And then these other small groups.
Y todos estos grupos pequeños. So Fatah, I think it's connected to Arafat.
I don't know.
Fatah.
I don't know.
Yes, Fatah. He put his name there, Arafat.
I mean, you'd have to look it up in Arabic. It may mean something else. I don't know.
But I think there's no coincidence that his name is
Arafat. No, but
and the organization that he
and by the way, one of the
coagulator was Fatah.
One of the best kept secrets about Yasser Arafat.
Homosexual?
Well,
uno de los secretos más
it's
guardados
possible he was gay, but
acerca de Arafat es posible que era homosexual.
He spoke English and chose not to.
Y hablaba inglés, pero decidía no hacerlo.
Just like Putin, but
Así
you know,
como
Putin speaks English, but you never.
Usted sabe que Putin habla inglés.
He only says thank you.
Pero solo dice thank you.
All these guys speak English. In Germany, they teach you
inglés.
English in school. In Israel, you can't live in Israel and not speak English.
Uno no puede vivir en Israel y
Do you
no
realize?
hablar inglés.
You realize a lot of people don't realize.
Mucha gente no lo sabe. Or friends.
Everybody in Israel speaks.
Todo en Israel habla inglés.
So if you don't speak a word of Hebrew, you can go to Israel tomorrow and live like you're in the States.
Así que si no hablas una sola palabra de hebreo, puedes ir mañana a Israel y vivir como si en los Estados Unidos.
But one of the secrets about Arafat.
Pero uno de los secretos de Arafat.
And they try to cover it up.
Intentaron cubrirlo.
As you said, he died of AIDS.
Como dijo usted, murió de
SIDA.
SIDA.
The actual cause of death.
La causa actual de su muerte
was AIDS,
fue SIDA,
which is pretty ironic.
Que es muy irónico.
For a guy who was shot at.
Para un hombre que a quien le
They
dispararon.
threw hand grenades at him.
Le tiraron granadas.
They targeted him.
Fue blanco.
He crashed in a plane.
Tiradores. Se chocó
and he got up and walked. He literally got up and walked out.
Literalmente se levantó y caminó.
That dude had 9 lives.
But
nothing. He crashed in an airplane and walked out.
Chocó su avión y se levantó caminando.
I think it was like 10,000 feet.
Wow, that's crazy.
That dude had 9 lives. But in the end, ironically,
pero irónicamente al fin,
AIDS got him.
El SIDA vino tras de él.
What, you want to say something?
Oh, I was going to say something.
See, what happened was, I believe what happened is Yah kept him alive.
That's what I was going to say.
But you know why?
Yahweh lo mantuvo vivo until he fulfilled whatever.
But, no, he was supposed to make shalom.
Él estaba supuesto a hacer shalom.
But he missed his invitation.
Pero perdió su invitación.
He missed his opportunity.
Perdió su chance.
He would have been the father of Palestine.
Él hubiera sido el papá de Palestina.
Because they were going to give him half of Jerusalem.
Porque le iban a dar la mitad de Jerusalén.
Under Ehud Barak.
Bajo Ehud Barak.
He walked away.
Pero se fue de la chance.
So that Yahweh said, okay,
entonces Yahweh dijo,
I'm done with you.
Ya acabé contigo.
I'm going to bring a temporary shalom.
Voy a traer una shalom temporaria.
But like we read here,
como leemos aquí,
they blow it up.
Ellos la disparan.
They blow it up.
Sí, la explotan.
Like we just read here.
Como acabamos de leer aquí.
That's why we can't trust the Iran deal. People say, "Oh, people who support the Iran deal are stupid."
Por eso no podemos confiar en el tratado con Irán. La gente que confía
to say they're uneducated is to be too nice.
Son tontos. El decir que no están educados o son analfabetos acerca de todo eso es ser demasiado amables.
They're stupid.
Son tontos.
Because how could the Iran nuclear deal be legitimate?
Porque ¿cómo puede ser el tratado
Well,
nuclear de Irán legítimo?
we can't verify without notice.
No podemos confirmar sin
We have to give them notice we're coming in to inspect.
Tenemos que darle notificación que vamos a entrar para inspeccionar.
And then Obama had to deliver $150 billion
Y luego Obama tuvo que entregar $150 billones
to bribe them.
Para sobornarlos.
These are not people who are going to keep their deal.
No es gente que va a guardar su tratado.
They made the deal so they can get the $150 billion and then have sanctions removed.
Consiguieron ese tratado para conseguir
get back to making money.
150 millones que se les quitaran las prohibiciones para que pudieran regresar a hacer dinero.
So Trump did the right thing.
Así que Trump hizo lo correcto.
Taking us out of that horrible deal.
Sacarnos de ese tratado malvado.
And I think he's going to give them a few months to get their to fly right.
Y creo que les va a dar unos cuantos meses para corregirse.
Because they're not playing with Obama, trust me.
Que no están jugando con Obama.
That's all I got to say.
So that Iran deal is completely off.
Yeah. We needed to pull out of that.
Ese tratado con Irán está completamente deshecho. So
you know why we made the Iran deal? Because they got money, they got the sanctions lifted, and Valerie Jarrett, who was Obama's representative to make the Iran deal, was raised in Iran.
Huh.
Duh. You think there's a connection there?
Dice, ¿sabe por qué? Dice,
whose interest did she have at
¿Sabe
heart?
por qué conseguimos ese tratado con Irán? Porque
See, I'm not like
Valerie
most of you. They're afraid to tell the
Irán.
truth. When Trump,
Valerie Jarrett creció en Irán y por eso tenemos esa conexión de que ella básicamente vivió en ese país.
I'm not a blind Trump supporter.
No soy un apoyador de Trump.
When Trump does tov,
cuando Trump hace algo correcto,
like the Iran deal and
Irán,
Korea, I give him all the credit.
Le doy todo el crédito.
And more than that.
Y más que eso.
But when he acts like the devil,
pero cuando actúa como el diablo,
and his sex life is like a whoremonger, like a horn
sexual,
dog, I call him out because he doesn't live up to biblical standards. I'm not like some of you who are blinded by being against him or for him. I'm neither. I'm for Yahusha. So I can call him as I see him. Balls and strikes, like the umpire. I can call balls and strikes as I see him. Some of you can't even do that because you're so in bondage to a political ideology.
Algunos de ustedes no pueden criticar a Trump porque están en esclavitud a una ideología política. Yo sí puedo criticar a Trump y decir cuando hace algo correcto, cuando está haciendo algo perverso o malvado. Yo puedo declarar esas cosas porque mi alianza está con Yahuwah, no con su partido político.
Because of your Hamas.
A causa de tu Hamas, injuria, violencia.
Against your brother, my son, Yaakov.
En contra de tu fraterno, mi hijo
Think
Jacob.
about that. Yahuwah said in Exodus 4.
Ajá.
Yaakov is my son.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, you're messing with my son.
But see, if
he's your brother, but he's my son.
Right, but listen, if he's saying he's your brother and he's my son, what does that make Edom? Another son of Yahuwah.
The wild olive branches.
Aquí lo que está diciendo, si Yahuwah dijo que Jacob es su hijo, y aquí está diciéndole Yahuwah a Edom que es su fraterno, Jacob es su fraterno, entonces Edom igual es su hijo, porque los dos son hermanos, fraternos, y si uno es hijo de Yahuwah, el otro tiene que ser hijo de Yahuwah.
But another way to look at it
Pero otra manera de verlo
is that Yaakov, your brother,
es que Jacob, tu fraterno,
is the chosen seed.
Es la simiente seleccionada, escogida.
The Torah says, in Yitzhak shall your zerah be called.
Torah dice, en Yitzhak será llamada tu simiente.
Then later, in Yaakov,
y lo dice después, en Jacob
shall your zerah be called.
Tu zerah será llamada.
See, so they're brothers,
sí, son fraternos,
but they're not equal.
Pero no son iguales.
Because Yahuwah says Ishmael and Yitzhak are brothers.
Porque Yahuwah dice, Ishmael y Jacob son fraternos.
Edom and Israel are brothers.
Edom y Israel son fraternos.
Pero I will establish my covenant with Yitzhak and Yaakov.
Estableceré mi convenio con Isaac y con Jacob.
That's the difference.
Esa es la diferencia.
They're not the covenant son.
No son,
Edom is Yahuwah's son, but he's not a covenant son.
Edom es el hijo de Yahuwah.
See? And the covenant makes all the difference.
Y el convenio hace toda la diferencia. Well, I think that goes back to
Just like the human race, they're all potential children of Yahweh.
Así como la raza humana, todos son hijos potenciales de
But what
Yahuwah.
keeps the human race away from Yahweh?
Pero ¿qué es lo que aparta a la raza humana de
They're
Yahuwah?
not covenant children.
Que no son hijos en
They're
convenio.
merely potential children
Simplemente son hijos en
or
potencial,
biological children,
o hijos biológicos,
but not covenant children.
pero no hijos en convenio.
So that the true children of Yahweh are never biological.
Así que los reales hijos de Yahuwah nunca
They
son
are-
biológicos.
They are based and established and grounded by covenant
Se basan, se establecen, se cimientan en
that
convenio.
differentiates redeemed Israel from Israel, Jacob from Israel, etc., etc. It all comes down to who signs the covenant and who rejects the covenant.
Y eso todo viene a quién es hijo en convenio, quién no es, quién es simplemente hijo biológico, quién firma el convenio, quién participa del convenio.
But in the natural, biologically, it's correct.
Pero en esencia, biológicamente sí es cierto.
If Israel is Yahweh's son, so is Edom.
Si Israel es hijo de Yahuwah, igual Edom.
But if Edom says, I don't recognize you and I've given you a new name, Allah, what does Yahweh say? You're my son, but you're not a covenant son. You're a bastard son. I don't know you. You're wild and wandering, and Yahweh is not your father anymore. You have no father. I mean, it's very deep.
Es muy profundo.
That's why Galatians over and over and over and over says that if you're a Jew, that's nice. If you're not a Jew, that's nice. That the Israel of Yahuwah, Galatians 6:16, are those who have entered the covenant like Jacob and Isaac, not like Ishmael and Edom, who flew away and ran from the covenant. You follow me?
You don't let me follow you.
Okay, then you teach and I'll translate.
Entonces aquí esta es la diferencia entre estos dos.
But I'll translate in
Los
Yiddish.
dos son biológicos, pero uno ha decidido seguir a Yahuwah en convenio. Edom ha decidido poner otro Elohim delante de su rostro y servir a otro Elohim. Se han desviado del todo. Todos tienen el potencial de seguir a Yahuwah, pero solo aquellos, y ser hijos de Yahuwah, pero solo aquellos que siguen a Yahuwah y que quieren obedecerle
Convenio.
en convenio son sus hijos.
And that's what
Y de
Galatians,
eso habla
and that's what
Gálatas.
Galatians 6:16
Si
says.
eres judío, eso es top. Si eres israelita o extranjero, eso es top. No importa, siempre y cuando tú te afilies con Yahuwah en convenio.
In Messiah Yahusha, circumcision or uncircumcision availeth nothing.
En Mashiach Yahusha, la circuncisión o la incircuncisión no importa,
But
no
a new
vale nada,
creation,
sino que una nueva creación.
because the new creation has entered the covenant.
Porque la nueva creación ha entrado en
Then
el
they go
convenio.
back and get
Y
circumcised.
luego regresan a ser circuncidados.
And as many as walk according to this rule,
Y todos los que caminan de acuerdo a esta regla,
Galatians 6:16.
Gálatas 6:16.
What rule?
¿Qué
First, you
regla?
become a new creation and enter the covenant,
Primero,
like Jacob, not like Edom.
te haces una nueva creación al entrar en el convenio, como Jacob, no como Edom.
Then you go back and cover up
Luego regresas
the
a
missing
cubrir
pieces
las piezas, las porciones que están descubiertas.
and get circumcised.
Y te circuncidas.
As many as follow me in this way,
Todos los que me siguen de esta manera,
shalom upon them,
shalom sobre ellos.
the Israel of Yahuwah.
El Israel de
So
Yahuwah.
there's a pattern for the Israel of Yahuwah.
Así que hay un patrón para el Israel de Yahuwah.
First, you come into the covenant.
Primero entras al convenio.
You don't run from the covenant like Ishmael and Edom.
No huyes del convenio como Israel.
I establish my covenant with you.
Establezco mi convenio contigo.
Then you go back and tie up all the loose ends.
Y luego regresas a cuidar de todos los detallitos que no habías cumplido.
Or in this case, you cut off
Y en este caso cortas.
all the loose ends.
todas las-
Oh, that was good. I want to watch that on replay. That was good.
cortas todo.
He's not saying don't be circumcised, be a heathen, forget about what I said in the Torah. That's not what the New Testament
El Nuevo
teaches.
Testamento no enseña, no te circuncides, no te preocupes por hacer esa parte del mandamiento. Eso ya no es válido en Torah. No, eso no es lo que enseña el Brit Hadashah.
Let's close with this. I want to read
Cerremos
this.
con esto. Quiero
Es
leer
muy
esto.
importante.
It's really important.
Para ti, para su familia, para todo. Es muy. We're going to close. We're going to get out of Ovadhyah.
Vamos a irnos de Ovadhyah y cerrar con
And we're going to
Gálatas,
make a close
hacer un cierre con Gálatas,
in Galatians.
Galatians.
which, by the way, is the most pro-Torah book
Para que sepan, es el libro más pro-Torah
in the New Testament.
en el Nuevo Testamento.
People think, oh my
La gente
gosh,
piensa, oh no,
what am I going to do with
¿qué voy
Galatians?
a hacer con Gálatas?
I'm trying to bring my family into the Torah.
Estoy intentando hacer que mi familia entre a Torah,
But what am I going to tell them about
pero
Galatians?
¿qué les voy a decir de Gálatas?
Because you don't understand it,
Es
that's
que
why.
no comprendes. Si no lo comprendes, es todo.
Your ignorance does not nullify circumcision
Tu ignorancia no nulifica la circuncisión
or any other parts of the Torah.
o cualquier otra porción de Torah.
Let's go back to 14 because I love these verses.
6:14 de Gálatas.
Galut Yah, that means written to the exiles of Yah in the nations. Bagalut.
Galutia o
Exiles
Gálatas,
of Yah, Bagalut in the
decir,
nations.
escrito a los exiliados, a los que están en Galut, entre las naciones, a los exiliados de Yahuwah.
But Yahuwah forbid that I should boast. 14.
Pero Yahuwah prohíba que yo me jacte.
Mejacte. What's that word in Spanish? Boast? Mejacte.
Jactar.
That's like hakme in China. Don't boast. Don't.
No,
How do you say that again?
Jactar.
Wow. That's like, don't hack me.
Don't hack me.
But Yahuwah forbid that I should boast,
Pero prohíba Yahuwah que yo me
meaning
jacte.
hakachinik,
Que yo me jacte.
except in the execution state
Sino que en el madero de ejecución
of our master Yahushua
de nuestro
HaMashiach.
soberano Yahushua el Mashiach.
And through his cross,
Y a través de su madero,
through his tree of execution,
a través de su madero de ejecución,
the whole olam hazeh, the whole world has become nonsense.
todo el mundo
It's dead, impaled,
se ha muerto.
no
a mi
longer controls
perspectiva.
my life's decisions
Ya
and
no
thinking.
controla mis decisiones ni mi pensamiento.
And I am impaled to the olam hazeh.
Y yo he sido inmolado, crucificado al mundo.
Through that execution stake and through that sacrifice.
A través de ese madero de ejecución,
The magnet of the world
ofrenda.
over me is lost.
Say that again.
The magnet that this world had over me is lost.
El imán, el poder, la atracción que tenía este mundo sobre mí se ha perdido.
And my pull for the world is gone.
Y mi atracción por el mundo
I'm in it, but not of it.
Mi atracción por el mundo se ha desaparecido. Estoy en él, pero no soy parte de él.
Through the tree
A través del madero
of execution.
de ejecución.
15.
15.
For in Mashiach Yahusha,
Porque en Mashiach Yahusha,
neither Brit Milah or Akrabustia,
ni la circuncisión ni la incircuncisión,
circumcision or those who tossed it away, Joseph,
ni la Brit Milá, ni la
10
incircuncisión,
tribes,
las 10 tribus,
circumcision or lack of circumcision, Jew or Joe, none of these things have strength to save.
ni judío ni José tiene fuerza para rescatar, para redimir.
But the only thing that gets us into the coming government
Pero lo único que nos hace
from
entrar
Jerusalem
en el reino venidero que viene de Jerusalén
is a renewed creation,
es una nueva creación. Baruch Hashem
to be
Yahuwah.
born again.
Ser nacido de nuevo.
Now watch this.
Y vean esto.
Hold your thought. 16.
16.
As many as have their halacha in this ruling, this Torah mishpat,
Y todos los que anden conforme a esta regla, esta Torah, esta mishpat, este juicio,
may
mishpat,
Yahweh Shalom be upon them,
shalom y ternura sea a ellos.
and may his rachamim be amongst
Y
them,
que su rajamim de Yahuwah esté entre ellos.
because this shalom comes only
Porque esta shalom viene
to
solamente
new creation
a nueva creación.
who are in the true
Que
Israel
están en el real Israel
of Yahweh.
de
Now
Yahuwah.
let's read that again.
Y leamos eso de nuevo.
Circumcision, uncircumcision
Circuncisión,
doesn't
incircuncisión.
determine if you get in the kingdom.
No decides si entras al reino.
Being a Jew or a Joe
El ser un judío
or an
José
Edomite doesn't determine if you get into the
o
kingdom.
edomita no decides si entras al reino.
But those who become born again and are regenerated by his spirit coming to live inside of
Pero
us
aquellos que
through
nacen
faith
de
in
nuevo
Yahusha
y vienen a su fe, a la fe en Yahusha y renacen a través de la fe en
become
Yahusha,
Israel
se hacen Israel, se convierten en
through
Israel
being born again.
a través del renacimiento.
Then they can go back to tie up loose ends.
Y pueden regresar a cuidar de esos detallitos que
In this
descuidaron
case,
antes
cut off
Y en este caso, cortar
whatever needs to be cut
lo
off.
que necesita ser
But
cortado.
don't cut anything off
Pero no cortes nada.
before
no te
you
circuncides
become
antes de que llegues a ser
the Israel of Yahweh.
el Israel de
Because if
Yahuwah.
you're going to be a pagan and live like the nations, you may need it.
Porque si vas a ser un pagano y vas a vivir como las naciones, quizás necesites tu
Don't cut it off.
No lo cortes.
Don't cut it off.
No lo cortes.
If you're going to live like the Olam and like the nations, you may need it.
Si vas a vivir como el mundo y las naciones, quizás lo necesites.
It could protect you from venereal disease and STD.
Te puede
A little
proteger
extra protection. A little extra protection.
de muchas enfermedades.
But if you're going to live like Israel,
Pero si vas a vivir como Israel,
first you come into Israel.
primero entras a
You
Israel,
make the covenant.
haces el convenio
Then you go back
y luego
and
regresas
cut it off.
y lo cortas.
See what I'm saying?
I've heard that it's the opposite. It actually causes sicknesses.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I'm talking about metaphor.
Estoy hablando
And that's debatable.
metafóricamente.
Nobody knows for sure.
Y nadie sabe eso con
That's the
certeza.
Mariamni school of thinking.
No, that was not my school.
But there are other schools of
I've heard
thinking.
of that.
No. But there are. So why would Yahuwah put something on us that would kill us? No, he does a protection of some kind.
Es una protección de algún tipo.
I don't know what. I'm not
So it's
Yahuwah.
like a condom.
Okay. It's a protection of some kind.
Es una protección de alguna.
So the
de
world
algún
says,
tipo.
okay, this. Forget
El
the
mundo
world.
dice esto y
The
esto.
world says Yahusha
Olvídate
was
del
a
mundo.
good teacher and a liar.
El mundo dice que Yahusha era un buen maestro y un
He's a good
mentiroso,
man,
que era un hombre bueno,
but he's not Yahuwah's son.
pero que no es hijo de
So I don't
Yahuwah.
care what the world
No me
says.
importa lo que dice el mundo.
Yahuwah put that there for a reason.
Yahuwah puso eso ahí por una razón. No, it was not the world that said that. It was actual believing medical science.
Mariamni,
Okay,
why don't you quit?
I agree.
You want to get fired?
Okay. Make my millennial have something to say.
You want to get fired? What's for lunch?
I don't know. Do you want to fire me? Depends on
After
whether
you
you want
make
to
lunch.
fire me or not.
After you make lunch, I'll fire you. What's up?
So three things
Mhm.
regarding what you had said before, where we were speaking about Edom and being the son, Jacob being the son of Yahuwah. Tres cosas acerca de lo que estamos diciendo, and all this just goes together. Y todo esto se une. First of all, like the thought that came to my mind regarding whether Esau is a son of Yahuwah or not is the saying of Yahusha that said, "If you love me, keep my commandments." Es el dicho de Yahusha que si me amas, guarda mis mandamientos. In other words, if you love me, sign the agreement of covenant. En otras palabras, si me amas, firma el convenio, el acuerdo, so you can be a closer part of me, a more intimate relationship with me. Edom is my son, but he's not in intimate relationship with me. Edom es mi hijo, pero no está en una relación íntima conmigo. And then the other saying of
Every
Yahusha,
father with an unsaved child has the same feeling,
todo
right? Their heart longs for that
un
son
hijo que no es redimido
to come to Emunah.
tiene ese mismo sentimiento. And the other thought that came to my head is like a family business, and that son that does not want to participate in the family business. Y otro pensamiento que vino a mí es el
Heartbreak,
negocio familiar
disappointment.
y ese hijo que no quiere participar del negocio familiar, que se va por su propio camino. Sí, trae una decepción, un quebrantamiento de corazón al papá, que es la cabeza del negocio. So, and then the other thing was the other saying of Yahusha. Y el otro dicho era el otro dicho de Yahusha.
The cameras.
Oh, no.
No, you're fine.
No.
If people want to see it.
Where the people told Yahusha, look, your mom and your brothers and sisters are outside. Cuando le dijeron a Yahusha, mira, tu mamá, tus fraternos, tus fraternas están allá afuera, te están esperando. And he said, my mom and my brethren are those that
hear the word
and
do it.
And do it. Mis mamá y mis fraternos son aquellos que oyen la palabra y lo hacen.
And
You
heard me say many times.
In the covenant. La gente que participa del convenio.
You heard me say many times.
Y me han oído decirlo muchas veces.
And I think even the people in this community,
y creo que aún la gente en esta comunidad
they don't get it.
No lo entiende.
They look at their children.
Cuando ven a sus hijos.
And they look at their family.
Y ven a su
and
familia,
even you don't get
y aún usted.
No, none of it, because we're human.
Somos humanos.
We see our family.
Vemos a nuestra familia.
If we're good people.
Como gente buena.
As the most important people.
Como lo más importante.
Your grandmother.
su abuela.
Your parent?
No, I don't.
Wait.
Pero
But from
espérese un momento.
yes, you do. But from Yahuwah's
Pero
perspective,
de la perspectiva de Yahuwah,
the true family
la real familia
that he put together
que él asambleó
are the believers.
son los creyentes.
But our humanity is drawn
Pero nuestra humanidad está atraída
to see the real family
a ver a la real familia
as the ones we love.
como aquellos que amamos.
Why do you say no?
Because I don't see it like that.
You don't see it like that?
No.
Well, how do you see
I
it?
know who my real family is.
Oh, so now you're dissing your parents on TV.
No, they follow the
Balance.
instructions.
You need balance.
They follow the instructions.
You need.
They are in the family.
That makes a difference.
Yes.
Your
Ellos están en la
biological family
Su
are
familia
believers.
biológica son creyentes. Yes.
So that's it. That's what makes them
No,
precious.
but the people that are not, I know that they are in a margin of exclusion by their own choice.
Right.
La familia que no son creyentes sé que están en un margen de exclusión por su propia opción.
Okay, but forget yourself because it's hard to discern.
Yeah.
But if you see others,
Pero si vemos a otros,
it's easier to see.
es más fácil ver
Okay. Their lives, their faults,
sus vidas,
than our own.
sus diferencias a las
If they
nuestras.
love their children more than they love
Si ellos aman a sus hijos más de lo que
Yahuwah.
aman a Yahuwah
or the family
o a la familia
of Yahuwah,
de Yahuwah,
then you know they've been programmed by their humanity and by the world,
entonces sabemos
but
que
the reality is something different.
han sido programados por su humanidad
Yes.
y por el mundo, y la humanidad es algo diferente. Yes.
For instance, we have families with children,
Por ejemplo, nosotros tenemos familias con niños
and we're getting more, I'm sure.
y estamos recibiendo a más.
The natural, and we don't condemn anybody, but the natural thing is those are the most important things.
Y no condenamos a nadie,
Right.
pero lo normal es pensar que ellos
We
son
work,
lo más
we live.
importante.
Those babies.
Trabajamos, vivimos por esos bebés.
And that's in our frailty.
Y eso es en nuestra
And we don't
fragilidad.
condemn anybody because we're human.
Y no condenamos a nadie porque somos
But
humanos.
from heaven's perspective,
Pero de la perspectiva de los
we
Shammai,
have it wrong.
lo tenemos mal.
The one who is born again and
El
regenerated
que ha nacido de nuevo y es regenerado
is the family
es la familia
that we ought to put
que
before
debemos de poner antes.
our biological.
Antes que
So
nuestra
if we
familia
go to work
biológica.
for our biological children,
Entonces, si vamos a trabajar por nuestros hijos
we also
biológicos,
work for Yahweh's
igual
children.
trabajamos por los hijos de
See, it
Yahuwah.
changes everything.
Cambia todo eso.
It changes everything.
Cambia todo eso. And you know what? The thought that just came to my head
Mhm.
is that we have to treat those people that are in that margin like we treat those little children. Tenemos que tratar a esas personas que están al margen como tratamos a esos niñitos pequeños. Because even though these little children are innocent and they haven't reached the point of decision making whether they accept or reject Yahusha, porque aunque esos niños son inocentes y no han alcanzado ese punto de decisión si aceptan, reciben o rechazan a Yahusha, what's the difference between them and those that basically don't understand the message? ¿Cuál es la diferencia entre ellos y aquellos que no entienden el mensaje?
Yeah.
They have not received the message. They have not been shown. They have not been explained. No se les ha enseñado. No se les ha explicado. Therefore, they have not come to the point of making their decision. Y por lo tanto, no han venido al punto de hacer su decisión. Those little ones are just like those. They haven't made a decision. They have not covenanted with Yahuwah yet. No han hecho su decisión de hacer convenio by their free will, choice. Por su propia libre albedrío, no han entrado al convenio ellos solos.
Absolutely.
So we ought to have as much patience with those as we have with these little ones. And we feed them and everything.
Absolutely.
Les damos de comer y todo eso. Until they make their decision. Hasta que hagan su decisión.
Absolutely. Tov. Well, we pray that today's Yom Shemini service and broadcast has been a tremendous blessing.
Oramos que este servicio y esta transmisión haya sido una gran bendición para ustedes.
We are very appreciative of all of you being here.
Apreciamos que todos ustedes hayan estado aquí.
Now, don't forget to be with us every
Y
day.
no se olviden de estar con nosotros todo yom.
We're going to put a different teaching on every day
Vamos a presentarles una enseñanza diferente todo yom.
on our growing YouTube
Ahí
channel.
en nuestro canal de YouTube que está
And
creciendo.
We'll be on in the morning from 8:30
Estaremos transmitiendo desde las 8:30 de la mañana
to 11 p.m.
a las 11 de la noche,
every Monday through Friday.
de lunes a viernes.
And then on Saturdays, Shabbat, 12 p.m.
Y los sábados Shabbat a las 12 de la tarde.
And today, the 8th day, Sundays,
Y hoy para el octavo Yom los domingos
at 11 a.m.
a las 11 de la mañana en vivo.
So now you could enjoy, and also we have 2,800 teachings that are being shortened. We are spending, it's probably going to take us several months.
Y estamos gastando varios meses para cortar las enseñanzas y sean un poquito más prácticas para que ustedes las puedan
So we
ver.
can take some of those 4-hour videos
Para tomar algunos de nuestros videos de esas 4 horas
and make them an hour
y a convertirlos en 1 hora, 60 minutos,
or 45 minutes.
45 minutos.
So to make the entire website, all the videos on demand,
para hacer que toda esa página web, esos videos que están en
easier to
internet,
watch and easier to navigate.
sean mucho más fáciles de ver.
So
de
if you've been
navegar.
discouraged in the past about watching the teachings because you didn't want to sit through a 4-hour video to find the teaching,
Así que si en tiempos pasados se desanimaban de ver las grabaciones porque estaban demasiado largas,
now you don't have to do that.
ya no tienen que hacer eso.
So that's a work in progress.
Así que esa es una obra en
We're
progreso.
chipping away at it little by little.
Y estamos trabajando en acortar esas
And,
enseñanzas poco a poco,
God willing,
editándolas.
we'll have the entire channel
Y si Yahuwah lo permite, tendremos el canal entero
with shorter videos.
con videos.
There still may be a few that run an hour and a half
Quizás hayan unos cuantos que sean
for different reasons,
90 minutos por diferentes razones.
but it's better than 3.5.
Pero es mejor que 3
Okay,
horas y
In the
media.
meantime, we'll see you on Shabbat.
Mientras tanto, los vemos el Shabbat.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
From Goshen, B'Tzafon.
Desde Goshen, Batzafon.
It's like our fathers had done. Brow sweating from the heat of the sun and the salty air that dampened the skin. We had a long day laying ahead of us. Fine boys and brothers and my controls waited there. Fresh bait in the tins. And on the beach comes a man dressed in silver clothes, light in his eyes, and the eagle inspiring knows he can fly higher than me. Walks down to the shore where our nets are tied. Suddenly everything we can find.